stacked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You love another psychopath sitting next to you. You love another murderer sitting next to you. You think that I get it sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are here, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I am joined by my good buddies Dylan and John, the Geek Informant. Austin was going to make it, but let's just say let us wish him a speedy recovery because he is not feeling well. So
darn.
let's
Shout out to our buddy
wishes.
Austin there.
Yeah, so let's send some good wishes his way. He's going through a lot right now, so
Oh darn.
Godspeed, man. So, how are we doing today, everyone?
Pretty good, dude. Pretty good.
As good as I can be.
It was a weird year for movies, wasn't it?
Very. You know what? It's just a weird year in general when you really think about it. Like I've had a blast this year. That I've had some really good moments this year, but it's like all those good moments is whenever I stepped away from YouTube and whenever I stepped away from the theater. Like, like I look at this mess and I'm like, oh my god, what have we turned into?
Yeah.
But when I step away from it, I'm all good.
It's been a pretty miserable year for me too, not just movie wise, but just in general.
No, it's been a hard year for everyone.
Yeah.
I've actually had a really good year, but I've had a really good year whenever I stepped away from YouTube.
Yeah.
Or
I've had my
movies
friends
or
and family
movies.
to get through it, so
Yeah.
couldn't be happier. And plus, I've already been working for a couple weeks now, but I have got a job, ladies and gentlemen. So
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
yeah.
Golf claps.
So this is it, the Big Kahuna stream. This has been a yearly tradition for my channel. I try to do this every year and get some people on here, talk about the best, the worst, and what is to come next year. So pretty much the same routine as always. I have 15 picks for my best of the year, and one of those spots is actually a tie. I could not separate these two specific movies. I have 10 picks for the worst of the year, but it's funny because 4 or 5 of those are more or less like they were okay-ish, whereas like the top 5 or so are actually like the worst I've seen all year. And then after that, we're going to be talking about what we are all excited for the most in the coming year. And if we want to, we could even discuss some things that we are like that was things that we know are coming out next year that we're just like, nope. But with that being said, let us commence. And I just gotta put it out there, not for you two, because I know you two, y'all know better, but anyone watching, comment, get a discussion going. What were the best and the worst things you saw all year? And plus, if you disagree with anything on my list, that's fine. Just don't be a dick about it. Because if you're going to be a dick about it,
Toi, tu parleras le jour où on t'aura sonné, petit con!
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, let us now get into the. You know what? No, actually, I'm going to do something different this year. I'm actually going to start with my worst of 2023 so that I can reward myself later with.
Okay.
I think that's how I'm
Fair
going to do it. Start with
Yeah,
the worst,
no.
reward yourself with the best after. So,
Yeah.
the worst of 2023, and by the looks of it, Yeah, like 10 to 7 are like the okay ones. Like I didn't actually fully hate these or even really hate them at all. They're just like I don't give a shit. So number 10 worst being the Super Mario Brothers movie, which
What?
made $1 billion. It was one of the highest grossing films of the year. And I know all, pretty much objectively speaking, it is actually one of the more faithful video game movies out there. But for me, it just came off as generic, predictable. Normally, predictable isn't such a bad thing so long as you care about the characters. And the characters weren't bad in this. Like, they felt like Mario, they felt like Luigi, and all that. It's just a lot of the voices just felt off to me. Like, the voice casting is what really took me out of it the most. Except for Jack Black as Bowser. Like, he's the only actor in this that I really felt like actually sank into the character and was giving a performance. Whereas Chris Pratt as Mario just felt like Chris Pratt. And Anya Taylor Joy, I love the actress to death, but it didn't really feel any sense of depth to her character. I like how they wrote her character. I like that she was more badass and all that, and it didn't feel forced or anything. But other than that, it was just the voice casting didn't do it for me. Not a horrible movie. Like I said, the first few here are like they're okay-ish. Like this would still be like a 3 out of 5 or a 6 out of 10, but not one of my favorite video game adaptations, unfortunately. So, but I do get why it made a lot of money because, again, objectively speaking, it is one of the more faithful video game adaptations out there. So the people that have always wanted a Mario movie, and if you felt like you got what you wanted, good for you. I genuinely mean that. So, number 9, Peter Pan and Wendy.
Mm.
Now, for the most part, I was actually enjoying so much of this movie. But oddly enough, it was the big changes that at first I thought I was on board with, but the more I thought about it, it just didn't work for me. Like how they give Peter Pan and Captain Hook this backstory of like how they used to be friends, and I guess Hook was all used to be a lost boy or something. And I'm like, okay, the idea is interesting on paper, but it just wasn't executed well. And then of course you have that dumbass line at the end where Wendy's flying and it's like, this magic belongs to no boy, or something like that. Of course. Otherwise, I guess it's fine. The acting is fine. It looks fine. It's one of the more middle of the road Disney live action adaptations. So, yeah. Something I liked quite a bit when I first saw it, but it just got kind of worse for me over time. So that's number 8. Now, or number 9. Number 8, I actually switched this out last night because I'm just going to say what my number 8 was originally going to be, was the Children of the Corn remake. But then I watched something else last night that just pissed me off so much more. Number 8, Pet Cemetery Bloodlines.
I don't know why you fucking decided to watch that shit.
Fuck this movie because here's the thing, Children of the Corn, you could technically say is worse, but the thing is, I forgot about so much of that movie that I wouldn't really have anything to say about that. This is just generic. It doesn't do anything new with the concept, even though it's a prequel. It's not directly an adaptation of the actual Pet Cemetery novel. And in a lot of ways, like I know you like this movie, John, but in a lot of ways, I actually think this is worse than the 2019 film because for a movie that's supposed to be rated R, it oddly enough cuts away from a lot of the kills. And a lot of other scenes in the movie are like that, where it just felt like just the editing overall was all over the place. Like the Pinocchio remake, that was one of the big issues with that film was the fucking editing, going from scene to scene to scene with no real segue. That's what this movie freaking felt like. So you could tell there was just something that was just squandered and cut down in the editing room so needlessly, and yeah, just made my blood boil. So I guess it technically should have been among the actual worst, but I don't know. Number 7, The Exorcist Believer. All right, so this is actually kind of a story because if anyone watching does not know, I like The Exorcist a lot. It's not one of my all-time favorite horror films, but I respect the legacy, and plus, R.I.P. to William Friedkin. He was, this movie wouldn't have even been possible without him. But this was just one of the most lazy and cynical attempts at a sequel that I've ever seen. I still think overall it's okay, and where I think the movie really works is where it oddly enough doesn't feel like an Exorcist sequel. Like if you saw our Cool Kids review, my big issue was I like more the movie this could have been rather than what it actually was. Ironically, all the stuff that's horrible about it is the stuff that's supposed to make it a legacy sequel. They bring back Ellen Burstyn for this, and just what they do with her is so fucking disrespectful. They bring her in just for 5 minutes of screen time, gouge her eyes out with a freaking crucifix or whatever, and then she has fuck all to do in the rest of the movie. Aside from she reunites with Reagan at the end. And look, if you know me, I love David Gordon Green's trilogy of Halloween sequels.
Yes, we all know.
So if anything,
Yeah, we do.
seeing a project like this, an Exorcist sequel with David Gordon Green at the helm, with most of the same crew as the Halloween trilogy, this should have excited me more, but it just didn't. I was never excited for this. The trailers looked blah, and it just, yeah, not a good movie. I still attest the fact that if you cut out all the shit in it, the sequel stuff, and just make it its own standalone movie, I think it would be a lot better. Maybe not amazing by any stretch, but I think it could be a much better standalone movie. So, if anything, it's still the most frustrating movie I have seen all year. So that's number 7. Now, from number 6 onward, these are the worst movies that I have seen all year. Number 6, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The epic kickoff to Phase 5 of the MCU. Now, look, it's no surprise that Marvel had a fucking terrible year this year. DC had a terrible year this year. And with movies like this, it's really hard to understand why. Like, for something that they're trying to advertise as so epic just to come off so generic, that there is no excuse. How do you go from Avengers Endgame and its epic levels of fan service to Kang the Conqueror, your new Thanos? You're building him up as the next big thing, and he gets taken out by ants. Giant ants, but ants. Like in the same scene, he was whooping ass, wiping people out left and right. Then literally a second later, he's taken out by ants. This is our big bad. We're supposed to be afraid of this guy. Ugh, fuck this movie. I hate to say that though, because I love the Ant-Man side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I like these characters. I like the humor. They're not like among the all-time best MCU films, but I really like them, They're always nice palate cleansers for after the big epic Avengers movies. So, such a disappointment. Number 5, The Flash. You know how I said both Marvel and DC had a terrible year? Here you go. Ugh. Where the fuck do I begin with this? Look, I'm not even going to get into the Ezra Miller shit because all that's been talked about to death. We all know what happened. We know why this movie bombed. So, yeah. What I really want to harp on is just the CGI is fucking horrible, for one thing. and the story just feels so fucking taped together. Nothing feels connected. And is it just me, or did the Man of Steel connections feel incredibly forced? Like, I know this is still in the DCEU, but for that to be the basis of what this Flashpoint adaptation is, I didn't buy it. So, but the worst thing for me in this movie was Michael Keaton. Not Michael Keaton himself. I actually thought he did a good job in this. I just hate how they used him. I mean, yeah, it's not his acting isn't as good as it was in the Tim Burton films, not even close. And maybe it's just the nostalgia talking, like, oh, it's so good to see him. But what I hate about Michael Keaton and this is again how they used him. He dies twice in this movie, both disrespectfully. And this is Michael Keaton's Batman. One of, if not, depending on who you ask, arguably possibly the most iconic incarnation of Batman. And this is how you're going to use him. The big epic legacy returns several decades later, and he goes out just like it's nothing. There was no effort with him in this. I hated it. So any attempts at emotional weight in this film just felt fucking flat. I did not care at all during a single scene in this movie. So Marvel, DC, fucking do better next year. Write a fucking movie next time. Number 4, Cocaine Bear. Look, I know the kind of audience they were going for with this movie. Just dumb fun, blood and gore. Let's see if people will be interested. And look, I I would have been down for that. And look, even if it's not historical accuracy, because the bear didn't actually go on a killing rampage. I'm a stickler for sticking to the events. But you know what? If you want to make a movie like this, a bear on drugs killing people, go for it. But the bear's barely fucking in this. I wouldn't have minded so much if the human characters were interesting, but they were all dull as fucking dishwater. And then to make matters worse, the carnage that we do get, the Cocaine Bear carnage, there's hardly any. I mean, it's there. It's not like they seg away or cut away from it, but it's just there's no creative, inventive, or super ultra gory kills. So it just I was just frustrated the entire time. All aspects of this film were disappointing, which I guess is saying something for me because I was never once looking forward to this film. So there you go. But like I said with freaking Mario movie, if you felt like you got enough out of this film, you felt like you got enough carnage, good for you. But this did not do it for me. Here's the big discussion starter. Number 3, Fast X. I know I'm probably the only person of the 3 here that have watched these movies. But look, what else can I possibly say that I've already said about like the past couple? I hate that they've continued making sequels after Paul Walker died. It is fucking disgusting. And plus, now they're just starting to rehash shit. Like this film is pretty much Fast 7 again. With a character that's revealed to have been there the entire time in one of the other movies, coming back for revenge. So it's just a rehash of the revenge plot from Fast 7 or Furious 7. I mean, pick a fucking consistent title style and just go with it for once. So, and aside from that, everything else is just the same old tired, been there, done that. Vin Diesel and all them, they think they're done with it. Last time was the last time they're getting into this shit. But then something else happens that brings them in. It ends with them all at a barbecue. Oh, it's all about family. I am sick to goddamn death of this formula. Ugh. Yeah. Nothing else to say. Fuck this movie. Number 2, Cobweb. Now, this was more an under the radar film, so I don't know if a lot of people knew about this movie or even know what it is, but fuck, I'm gonna spoil it. The basic premise of this is that you have two abusive parents that are very strict over their son, and as the course of the movie, it's revealed that that he has a sister who's all deformed and demented and all that they kept locked inside the walls of the house, and they try to very offensively try to paint it to like, oh, the abusive, horrible parents were protecting him all along, and that the deformed sister that they kept locked up all the time is the bad guy. Well, gee, I wonder why she's fucking evil, because you kept her locked up. But I hate to get personal, but as someone who's had abusive parents, I'm adopted. My bio parents were abusive. Shit like this fucking infuriates me. Where they tried to do it. Oh, no, they were abusive, but they were protecting him the whole time. Fuck you. Ugh. And the thing is, I was excited for this movie because for one, idiot, I know, but I thought this was gonna be some kind of like a giant spider film. I thought it was gonna be about spiders, something, because Cobweb. I know I'm an idiot, but I would have preferred something like that. I would have preferred a shitty, schlocky, Sci-Fi Channel quality supernatural spider film over something like this shit.
And now you just have to stick with 8-legged freaks.
Yeah, jokes on you. I actually like that film, but yeah. But
no, I mean like
yeah.
As I know you like it. That's why I said it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I was joking too. I was like, yeah, jokes on you. I like that one. But yeah. If you haven't heard of this film beforehand, I guess you are better off not knowing about it. But if you're intrigued about it, don't watch it. It just, that's all I can say. Now let's get into the real fucking infuriating shit bomb of the year.
Oh boy.
Number 1. Number 1.
You're gonna get through this, Zach. Don't worry.
Oh,
your friends are here, Zach. We're here to support
you. Is
afraid.
afraid.
Okay.
Where, to quote my Cool Kids review, where the fuck do I start with this? I hate to steal from your Thor rant, John, but where the fuck do I start with this thing? Look, I love Joaquin Phoenix. He is a terrific actor, a terrific talent. I have loved damn near every single movie that I have seen from him. I haven't actually seen every movie from him, but of the movies I've seen from him, I've loved damn near every one of them. Like Joker, Gladiator, you name it. I love this guy's filmography. And I'm so torn on this when it comes to Joaquin Phoenix, because I hate bashing the dude. But what the fuck were you thinking accepting this script?
We all make mistakes.
Alright, I got a little story for y'all. Did y'all ever hear the one about the stupid old prick named Ari who thought he knew shit about movies but didn't know shit and made a movie that shits on people who actually give a shit about mental health as a result? Ari Aster, it's about you. Don't make movies anymore, Ari. You're not good at it. Because here's the thing. I try to be a fair critic. Like, even the worst fucking movies I've seen, like Pearl Harbor or whatever, I even give credit that the acting was good and that at least visually it was good. I'll try to give credit, but I hate to give credit to anything in this movie. Even with the interesting sense of flair with the visuals in this movie, especially where it goes fucking nuts, in that one scene, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah. Because here's the thing. If you know that last year, I guess a year ago today, almost, give or take a couple days over, I lost a brother that I was very close to. And this has something to do with why my favorite film of the year is my favorite film of the year. This has been a fucking depressing year for me because I was still grieving over losing my brother. And then, on top of other things that have been happening this year, other losses in the family that have happened. I've lost an uncle. I've lost my grandmother, who recently came back into my life. And then, not to mention, still being jobless and all that. So for a movie like this to have the cynical, depressing tone that it does, to say, fuck people that are going through shit, just keep dumping on them. This movie is 3 fucking hours of just dumping on this guy. Dump on this guy. He has mental issues, but fuck him. Dump on him. He gets no positive moments throughout this movie. When he's not being terrorized by the freaking Alaskan bullworms, deformed incest Sweet Home Alabama cousin. He's just, dump on him. Everyone's horrible to him. Everyone be horrible to Joaquin Phoenix in this. You should have called this movie Bo Deserved to Die, because that's what they're saying. If someone has mental health issues, fuck them. They deserve to die. Because no one gives a shit. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. But I actually have something for you, Ari Aster. Are you ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? It's about to happen. It's gonna happen. 3, 2, 1. Ari Aster, Raging Dumpster Fire.
And now you're going to die.
Nice.
Fuck this movie. Fuck Ari Aster and anything else that he decides to make. Whew. Quote Hermione Granger from freaking Prisoner of Azkaban. That felt good. Now, before we get into my best of the year, I do want to mention one film that's sort of in the middle. Not one of the best of the year, not one of the worst I've seen all year, but I guess you could say the most disappointing movie I've seen all year. Wish. As we all know right now, this was supposed to be their 100th anniversary celebration for Disney, and it's failing miserably for them. But the thing is, I actually feel really sorry for this movie because look, for the most part, I mostly agree with the critics. It was a total lack of imagination. It didn't really do anything new. But you know what? For what it was, I still liked it. I still think it's a major disappointment in context of it being a 100-year anniversary celebration for freaking Disney. But as is, I still liked it. So in a way, I do feel sorry for this flick. And I actually wouldn't even mind rewatching it sometime down the road to see if maybe it would even get a little bit better for me. So, yeah. So if anything, I would actually recommend this movie to y'all because as disappointing as it is as a celebration film, on its own merits, it's not a horrible, awful Disney movie. It's not like we're talking about like Chicken Little or Home on the Range or something. It's fine. It was good.
Chicken Little wasn't that bad. Home on the Range was okay. Home on the Range is Home on the Range.
Yeah, but I did want to mention that as kind of like in the middle of these lists. But now, with that being said, we will now get into the best of 2023, of which I have 15 picks. One of these is a tie, and you'll see it when you see it. So, and I just want to make it clear that, like, my picks here aren't what I'll try to say are objectively actually the best movies I've seen all year. A lot of these are just my favorite ones I've seen all year. Like, some of the best experiences I've had in a theater all year, as well as the movie being really good. Although some of them are actually like, really one of the fucking best movies of the year. But that will be higher up on the list. So, number 15. This is going to surprise people, but I'm putting Five Nights at Freddy's on the list. Why? Because it was probably my favorite theater experience of the year. Like, when I saw this, because I saw this movie at a special nighttime screening, like a fan event screening, the night before the movie actually had its opening day. And it not only was it packed, but people were going fucking nuts for this movie like it was a freaking Marvel or Star Wars crowd. I am not joking. And but the movie itself, it was actually pretty good. I was actually kind of worried going into this film because, you know, I hardly know jack shit about this franchise, so I was worried I wasn't going to be able to follow it. I was worried they were going to craft it to where it's like, oh, if you don't know the lore, if you don't know every aspect of the lore, you're not going to be able to follow it. But surprisingly,
If you don't know the Lord,
huh,
if you don't know the Lord, you're not going to be able to follow, Zach.
funny. But as is, I thought it was enjoyable. I actually appreciate that for as deep and as expansive as the lore is, that they toned it down and made it more accessible to newcomers. I respect it more when video game movies do that. That's why I like the Sonic movies so much. And I don't know if I'm gonna get hate for this, but that's why I like the old Mortal Kombat movie. It doesn't have the violence and the gore.
Hey,
But-
KitchenAid Whiskey Jones, how are you, my bro?
But that's it. But those are some of my favorite video game adaptations. And
Zach, you're not going to get any hate for that because most people love the old Mortal Kombat video game movie.
yeah, like the
That's not
second
even a
one,
hot take. That's just like the popular position.
yeah. The second one sucks though. Kind of a guilty pleasure, but it's
Oh, everybody knows that. Yeah, the second one is shit.
You.
The
will
first one's a lot of
die.
exactly. The first one's a lot of fun though.
yeah. But as is, yeah, I would say this is genuinely one of the better video game adaptations. I know that it got a lot of flack, because it didn't have a lot of the animatronics in it, and that there's a lot of human plot in it. But as I always say,
Let's build the fort, guys.
but so long as you care about the characters and all that, then I don't mind. And in the ways that they actually tied it into the lore with like the main character's brother going missing and how it ties into William Afton, I'm like, all right, I like how they kind of put it in there. So I dug this movie, and it's held up well on rewatch. So that's number 15. Number 14. I'm sure most people would agree with this that have seen it. Nimona, the final Blue Sky movie. I assume it's gonna be the last one. This movie actually went through a lot of hell with its production. Like, it went from studio to studio to a point where people thought it wasn't even going to be finished. But lo and behold, we have it, and it dropped on Netflix. And I dug it a lot.
It's a great film.
Everything from the animation style, which
On
I
my
will
list.
say is one of the most unique animation styles I've ever seen. The first couple of minutes, I was kind of worried because, like, all right, are they just gonna try and run along the same Spider-Verse kind of animation? But like, oh, it is something different. I see what they're going for. And the characters were really interesting. The relationships between all the characters were interesting.
Yeah,
Even
they were
down-
really good.
Even down to Nimona herself and how it all pays off at the end. That's one of the most heartfelt scenes I have seen in an animated film, or hell, in a movie as of late.
100% agreed.
I
agree
will
with that.
say this. My Nimona. That is all.
Mhm.
And something else that I actually really dug is how they revealed the villain. Because normally that's third act stuff. I was behind it all along. we actually found out halfway through who it is. So the way that it drives the conflict, it actually raises the stakes, I think, as opposed to not
Yeah.
knowing who it is during the third act. So I really fucking dug how they did that, doing something different there. So
Yeah.
So I will say this might even be my favorite Blue Sky movie. I know they're not like a prestige studio out there, like I know they're not Disney, but per their filmography, this
Blue
might be
Sky has a few good movies.
but per their filmography, this is probably my favorite one. I think I can confidently say that. So that's number 14. Number 13. Don't kill me for putting it this low. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, you're lucky Devin isn't here.
Kick your ass.
Now, what I loved so much about this film, because I was worried that they were going to do this based off the trailers, but I was just simply going to be rehashing the first film story again, where the like how Kingpin, they try to make him sympathetic in the first one. They try to give a villain in this film that same kind of motivation, but they proved within like literally the first few minutes that that's where they're not going to go at all, and I respected that. I like how they just like how freaking he says in this one, "No, I'm gonna do my own thing." So I loved how they even revealed that like he wasn't even meant to have been bitten by the spider. That was like freaking what's the freaking meme in this film? A canon event or something?
Yeah.
So, and I like it. It goes against the traditional formula of Spider-Man while still celebrating Spider-Man. If you can balance the two, try to do something different while still properly celebrating the legacy you're making of a franchise you're making a movie about, all the respect to you. So, I highly anticipate the final chapter of the trilogy, whatever it's going to be. I'm pretty sure we're all going to be first in line. Even throwing people out of the line. We're going to be cutting in line to see this movie.
I never cut. I am not a cutter.
No, you splash the line.
I do. Oh, never mind. That's a different form of cutting.
Alrighty. Oh man, another one that's low, but don't murder me. Don't.
Hey, there's a lot of great movies that came out this year, man.
Yeah,
So
there
you're
really
good.
are.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spoil number 12, but don't use the Necronomicon on me. Number 12, Evil Dead Rise.
I'm just kidding. Go fuck yourself, man. I'm kidding.
Now,
I'm kidding. Of course.
Oh, God.
I think I still stand by the fact that this might be at least top 3 Evil Dead, because I think when I initially saw it, it was like my second favorite. Because even though I'm a casual, I don't know, maybe I think I found myself kind of towing the line of being more than a casual Evil Dead fan, because I've always loved Army of Darkness. And I've always heard great things about Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I still haven't watched that, by the way.
You shouldn't watch it. It ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh shit. Well, never mind then. But for the movies we have, I dig this series. Even Evil Dead 2, which, like, I'm always confused how they call it a sequel. It just more or less feels like the first one again. But either way, I still really like it, and I get the appeal for it. But this film, I like the setting. I like the characters. I like that they still had the balls, the classic Evil Dead balls. They didn't neuter anything. They didn't say, "Oh, we can't harm the children." No, anyone's fucking fair game in this, and I love, you know what I mean. That I love that tone with Evil Dead. That they don't give a fuck about nobody in these movies.
No,
So-
they don't. That's that. Long live Sam Raimi, and long live Lee Cronin, but not Fede Alvarez. Fuck you, Fede Alvarez.
Evil Dead totally would have killed the baby in Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then,
Aquaman and Lost Kingdom. It needed more Necronomicon.
But
Need
even
more
then,
Deadites.
while it may not be my overall favorite Evil Dead film, I don't know what you guys think, but I think this might actually be the goriest one.
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I think because there was some graphic shit in the movie anyway. But I think at the end, with all the people being meshed together into that big whatever the fuck that's supposed to be, that was some fucking gnarly shit.
I will say, I mean, it is kind of cheating because it's a TV show, but Ash versus the Evil Dead gets mad fucking gory a lot of time. I mean, it was on Stars, so it could get away with a lot of shit. So it got into some gnarly ass fucking shit. Real gory stuff. And it was so fucking fun. But yeah, I don't know if that counts because they can do a lot more because, you know, it's a show, there's more content. But I would say Ash vs. the Evil Dead is probably the goriest Evil Dead thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But this is definitely up there.
You know what's funny though? Well, we'll get to number 11 in a second, but I think I might have heard rumblings about them wanting to revive Ash versus the Evil Dead, but as an animated show.
He'll only come back if Bruce Campbell wants him to come back, and I don't think he wants him to come back.
Fair. Because the thing is, I really do want to watch Ash versus Evil Dead because I've heard nothing but great things about it. And it just frustrates me because you know how I hate when things don't have an ending when they just cut it off. So that frustrates me with Ash vs. Evil Dead because I want to watch it so bad. Maybe one of these days I'll just put my pride aside and just watch it. I don't know.
It is a really great show. I will say it's not a total cliffhanger ending. It is kind of, you can treat it as more ambiguous. Like, you know what's going to happen, but like pretty much everything is tied off, but there is still quite a few loose ends. But I mean, I still recommend it if you can put your qualms with unfinished endings aside.
Yeah.
I would say watch it, but I don't want to force you because I know that's your thing. I know you don't like to watch you know, stuff that's been canceled and has no ending because everyone wants an ending, whether that be good or bad, you know? So I get it. Trust me, I fucking get it. Like, I'm still raging that the Orville fucking got canceled despite some major loose ends. So,
oh, dude, everyone's pissed about that. I think even Seth MacFarlane came out about that and said, "Don't worry, people. No one is more pissed about this than I am," or something like that.
Probably.
But yeah, all that said, great movie. If you're an Evil Dead fan, it more than delivers. So that's number 12. Number 11. This was my most anticipated horror film of the year, Scream 6. Now, if you remember my list from last year, Scream 5 was in my top 3. I loved it. I still stand by it being the most emotional Scream film. And this one was mostly a step down, mainly because of how they use Gale Weathers in like the first scene that she's in. But otherwise, I think the rest of the film is great as is. Like, I like how they use the New York setting. Ghostface is badass, and the kills are fucking gnarly as hell. Especially in the apartment where he shakes her off the ladder. Like, that's a fucking gnarly kill. And even the finale, I didn't mind it because the reason why I don't mind it is because the film's commentary is on conspiracy theories and subverting expectations. So they're having you think that throughout the whole movie, the killer's motivations are going to be something about, because the whole thing with the killers was, we adore Richie, Sam was the killer all along, there's all that conspiracy theories. So you think that's going to be the killer's motivation. You're going to pay for what you did to Richie or whatever. But then they subvert expectations, and it's just his family wanting revenge. I think it's because they spun it that way that I didn't mind it so much. And plus, the freaking the cop that was the main killer, I actually thought he was intimidating. The other two, not so much, but what can you do? Not every Ghostface can be freaking Billy and Stu. So, but as is, and another thing that I appreciate about it is that something I love about Scream 5 is that I feel like it's actually able to be, if not intentionally, but still able to be a good send-off. That little conversation she has with Sam was like, "Yo, am I going to be okay?" And Sydney's all, "Eventually you will be." So I like how this film can be sort of an epilogue, just giving another story for the new characters. And I guess I gotta address it before I get to my next pick. The fact that Sydney was not in this. We all know why. We know what happened, so I won't get into that. But I'm gonna get into how I actually think it works in the film's favor, actually. Because we saw on Screen 5 that Sydney had a family. She wasn't even going to come back, but then Dewey died and she came back to avenge him. It felt properly motivated. But here it's like, I buy it. It's not that she doesn't care or that she doesn't give a shit or anything, but she just wants to be with the family. She's got a family to think about. She's got to keep her kids safe. I buy it. I think that's something Sydney would do. So even though it's very unintentional, it's like the last thing they wanted to happen. I think narratively it still works in their favor. So there's all that. So aside from those little gripes with how they use Gale Weathers, I really dug Scream 6. So that's number 11. Number 10 is more or less going to be a me thing. I mean, I know John used to watch this a lot, but you mentioned the Gerard Loop. But number 10 is the revival of Total Drama Island. Their 7th season. They came back after like 9-10 years off the air. And this and the film on my number 5 spot are like the most pleasant surprises of the year for me because I hated seasons 5 and 6 of Total Drama. I hated how they used the characters and just how they derailed everything and all that. So when they finally announced a new season, I was skeptical because for one, it was going to be another new cast. They weren't even going to try to use anyone from the past. So I just thought I was going to fucking hate this thing. But then, surprise, when I actually really liked it. I would even say it's like the best season the show has had since Total Drama World Tour, their 3rd season. I liked how the pacing and the story and the structure for the episodes was a lot better. I liked that the humor wasn't so kiddie and juvenile like how it had gotten to season 6 by that point. It felt more like a return to that, not full-on adult humor, but, teetering on that edge like the original Total Drama Island did. It felt more like that humor again, and I really appreciated it. Plus, the new set of characters were very likable, very interesting. The diversity felt genuine, and it didn't feel just like checkbox, woke. It didn't feel like that, so that's something else I respected. It really felt like they learned a lot of lessons from how they failed in the past. So if this is the start of another like long-term return for Total Drama, I'm down for it. If the seasons are going to be as good as this one, yeah, I'll gladly start caring about Total Drama again. So number 10. Number 9. Oh, here we go. Ahsoka. First off, R.I.P. to Ray Stevenson. It fucking hurts that he's gone because he was one of my absolute favorite actors. And
Great new character.
Yep. And don't kill me, but my favorite performance from him has always been Punisher Warzone. I thought he was awesome in that. But here, I really dug it as a continuation of Star Wars Rebels. I got into most of the casting for all the characters with Hera and Sabine and all them. And even though Ahsoka is more stoic in this one, her personality doesn't feel the same as how it was in the Clone Wars. I think it makes sense.
Actually, you're wrong, though.
She's older and more jaded, so I think it makes sense. And I just loved how intriguing and mythical the story felt here. It actually felt like nothing felt like it was a rehash of anything really. And I felt like the build up to the return of Thrawn was done very well. And Ray Stevenson's character, Valen Skull, the villain, I thought there were a lot of times where I actually think he stole the show in this. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to continue this, especially with his character. I don't even know if they're going to be keeping that storyline going. It'd be a shame if they didn't, but so...
They didn't have much of a choice, Zach. I mean, he did, so I mean... And
Yeah.
plus, they did try to find a way for him to ride off into the sunset because he said, told his apprentice, your path lies along a different, basically, your destiny lies along a different path from mine. Basically, the whole Obi-Wan
Yeah.
thing, So said he was just tired of all of it. So I mean, he was
Yeah.
basically just kind of going off to, I don't know, to
Yeah.
wander the earth like Kane from Kung Fu.
Yeah. So overall, like, in a time where Star Wars is so freaking hit and miss the way it is now, it really is more meaningful when projects like this are still allowed to happen that are this good. It just when you have the right people running it. None of the agenda, none of the poor handling of the characters, just someone who actually gets Star Wars, and Dave Filoni gets Star Wars. So more Star Wars like this, please. I think we'll all appreciate that. But number 8. Now we're into the real good shit. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Probably the
How
best.
the heck is this low, dude?
Mark's like,
Shit.
how the fuck is this high?
Wait, what?
I hate this. I hate James Gunn. I haven't liked him since the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Didn't like it. I don't like his sense of humor. I don't like his stupid jokes. I don't like it. I just can't stand it.
You and I will agree to disagree there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah. But what plain and simply, probably I don't know if it's like literally the best MCU film I've seen since Avengers Endgame, but because my whole issue with the MCU is that, at least for me, nothing has felt narratively necessary after Endgame. Even the best stuff, like No Way Home, was really good for the fan service, and even the arc that they gave Tom Holland, I'll give them credit. And Wakanda Forever, I thought they gave a very tasteful, respectful tribute to Chadwick Boseman while still showing how they can still move on without him. But this, I think, is the first thing since Avengers Endgame that I feel like actually needed to exist. Because in Avengers Endgame, all their storylines were wrapped up with Iron Man and Captain America, all except for the Guardians of the Galaxy. They were present and Rocket had a big role, but there really wasn't a scene that like fully wrapped up their arcs. So it made sense to give them one more movie to wrap up all their story arcs. We're going to finally explore Rocket's past. We're going to resolve Peter Quill's hesitance to go back to Earth. All that stuff. And I think they wrapped it up very well here. And I respect the balls of not killing any of them off, because the more that I thought about it, I think it's actually good that no one died in this, because I think it was so important to like genuinely wrap up every single character's arc, and you couldn't have really done that if you killed any of them off. Maybe it's all depends on execution and how you kill them off, but I think it's actually better that everyone survived in this. It's like, where do I even begin? Like, Rocket's past is heartbreaking. Like, I almost shed a tear, and I thought it was funny that the dynamic they gave with Peter and the past Gamora and the villain, even though the yelling grated on me after a while, I actually thought he was a worthy final opponent. So, even though there's a fucking deleted scene out there that shows that he survived, which I'm glad it's a deleted scene, because then it ruins the entire point of Rocket's arc, because the point of Rocket's arc was that he's supposed to kill this guy. So to show that he's still alive makes no sense, because they left it behind to die on that ship. You saw the ship blowing up. So the fact that there's a deleted scene out that shows, oh, he's still alive, but he's locked up. No. Again, not only does it make sense, but it ruins the point of Rocket's arc. What is accomplished if Rocket does not kill him? So, yeah. Hey, we got Rome's up in here. What's up, man?
It's good, Zach.
Rome was not built in a day.
Exactly.
But that aside, it was a great movie. It was nice to again not only have another great MCU film again, but one that actually felt like it needed to exist. So there's my whole thing. That's number 8. All right, I need to explain myself with number 7 though, because y'all remember my cool review how I tore this movie a new ass. But all right, number 7 is Megan.
Hell yeah!
Now remember, I tore this
Yes.
movie a new ass on the Cool Kids review. Like, Zach, didn't you hate this? Worst slasher film you've seen in years? Don't you remember saying that? Look,
And then Megan tore you a new ass.
for one, look, I was drunk, well, sort of, when I was watching this movie anyway. I mean, I watched it sober and I still didn't like it, but here's the thing. I can man up and admit that because here's the thing, I will still stand by the fact that the plot is nothing new. It's not like there's no innovation or anything. But I will man up and admit that I didn't give it enough of a chance as is. Because as is, it is entertaining and well made. The satire works. I like the acting and the message that they're trying to get out there. Like, the message is nothing new. There's a lot of movies out there with messages about the dangers of technology and AI. But it's the way that this movie executes the message that gives it its edge. So, and it even actually gets me excited for the sequel. Like, I remember I was dreading the fact that they were making a sequel to this. But now I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll see where you're going with it. It's not like I'm fully in love with this movie now, like I made a complete 180. But you know what? I'm man enough to admit when I was wrong. This was a great movie. So, yeah. So, alas, y'all don't have to kill me. It's not going to be on my worst list. All right. So number 6 is going to be sort of a weird one. Because I don't know if anyone's seen this. It was this little short film that Disney had. It was Once Upon a Studio short film where they bring in all the different Disney characters from way back when to all the ones we have now. If you've seen the short, you get what I'm talking about. Because I mentioned earlier that I did like Wish. As disappointing as it is as a 100th anniversary celebration film like they were intending, but I still like it. This is, I feel like, is where all the heart went into as far as celebrating 100 years of Disney. It was very heartfelt. I liked that even at just like a 10-minute runtime, they're able to squeeze in all these little interactions between all the different characters and all that, and it was very sweet at the end. So I got much more heart out of this than Wish. I like that film, but you can tell all the imagination went into here. All right, now y'all are gonna kill me. Y'all are gonna fucking murder me.
What? This is like the 4th time we're about to kill you. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's still
Oh,
it's
come
good best
on.
and worst. So it just be proud of what you
All
love
right,
and what you don't
you're
love.
gonna kill me.
Zach has terrible
All right.
taste. We already know this.
We know.
Get
We've been
on
knowing.
with it.
Number 5, Indiana Jones and
Oh,
the Dial
boy.
of Destiny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get right
okay.
into it and say why. Because I love Indiana Jones. Who doesn't love Indiana Jones? The original trilogy is one of the best trilogies of all time. Hell, Last Crusade is probably my favorite globe-trotting adventure type genre film ever. Of films of that genre, it's my favorite. So, and I don't hate Crystal Skull as much as other people. I actually like that film. I get all the flaws with it, especially the more distasteful stuff with the aliens and all that. Like, but I liked it. I liked the father son dynamic that was in it. And the reason why I actually still really like this movie was because we've all said 100 things by now about how the Star Wars sequels just shit the bed. how they used the characters, how they felt like it poorly continued the story. But with this, I actually felt like it was a major improvement over the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy. Because for one, unlike how it gets to by the end of the sequel trilogy where all the legacy characters are dead, they all died miserable farts that really didn't accomplish anything by the end. They were all miserable by the end. They died for nothing. It was very disrespectful. But here, I actually feel like they used Indiana Jones so much more respectfully and so much more tastefully than anything that was done with the characters in the Star Wars sequels. I use this comparison because they're both Lucasfilm properties. So, but the point I'm trying to make is an example I'll make is the scene where Indy opens up to Helena about how his son died on the boat. What I like about that scene is because something like what Rise of Skywalker did, where it just wanted to so hatefully negate everything the previous film did. Like, no, that didn't matter. That didn't really happen. And you'd think they would have done that with something like Crystal Skull, because a lot of people hate Crystal Skull. They don't like Shia LaBeouf. So you probably would have thought they just would have completely retconned him, or even have it in the narrative to where Indy was like, fuck him. But I like that they still kind of respectfully acknowledge Crystal Skull in that way. Like, I mean, yeah, Shia LaBeouf died, but they show that he still cared. You get where I'm going? So I there's just so much more improvement with the writing and just how narratively they use the characters. Small little details like that, I think, make it so much better. And plus, as is, I still feel like it's a good classic indie adventure. It's not as thrilling as anything in the original trilogy. It would take a really good script to make it as good as the other movies. But I applaud the attempt here. So, and plus another thing that I respect is that, again, unlike how they use the characters in the Star Wars sequels, they actually give Indy a happy ending in this. He doesn't die miserable. It's not like anything he accomplished was for nothing. Like how Luke died for nothing, Han died for nothing, Leia. No, they actually give Indiana Jones a happy ending. He gets back with Marion, and he's no longer.
They already gave him a happy ending, but that's beside the point.
Oh, I get what you're saying, but you get what I'm saying here. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like with the comparisons I'm making.
I mean, I'll give it that, but it's still like, okay, we gave him a happy ending in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Let's backpedal and then give him another movie where he has to relearn the same lesson for all the people that didn't like the previous movie in the hopes they like this movie. Yeah. I
get all that, but like I probably would have soured me more if Indy had died. But they didn't, so because that's the thing.
His happy ending came at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That is Indy's fucking happy ending. Period.
Fair enough.
Technically, his happy ending is in the flash forwards in the Young Indiana Jones adventures, but we're just being technical here.
Well, Marco, I mean, actually, Marco, because you had like the worst expectations for this movie, so
I did, and I liked it. I just barely liked it. I mean, I was kind of on the fence as to whether, but ultimately I decided, you know what, it surprised me that I didn't hate it, so I mean, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, just barely.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my bad, Mark. Sorry, I was going to say the same thing with Mark. Like, I didn't hate it. I was surprisingly, I enjoyed it. It's just, it just felt like a 4-hour movie. The pacing was just so bad. It just felt like they dragged out so much things that you just didn't really need. I mean, I love the opening with a young Indiana Jones, and you get that adventure. Like that's the best part of that whole movie for me. But I just felt like it was just a 4-hour, 4.5, 5-hour long movie. Even though it wasn't, it just felt such a The pacing was just so bad.
Yeah.
Like I'll admit, there's stuff you could cut out of this to kind of get him more to what the runtimes of the other films are, but yeah. But as is, I think we could all probably agree, like I said before, like it or hate it, it's definitely better than the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy combined.
I'll give you that.
Saying much.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's not saying much.
and I'm saying that in the context of I still really like Force Awakens, but putting the trilogy as a whole, there's issues. So yeah, and I was just happy, that that even issues aside, they were able to give Indy one final hurrah, and it was very enjoyable. So, one last thing I'll mention is because with the Helena character, well, then we'll get into number 4. Is like I actually don't think I think that there wasn't even a lot of forced feminism in this because they still weaved it to where it's like that this was still Indy's adventure, that they needed him. He didn't feel like just, he didn't feel like a side player in his own movie. So, I mean, I had a lot of frustrations with Helena's character, but I feel like she evened out at the end. She got a bit better. So,
I mean, I was fine with her because I saw what they were trying to do. She was just like more like an unpolished Indiana Jones, more like him in Temple of Doom. Thank you, which is technically a prequel. So where he was a little more selfish and looking out for himself, So I mean,
and that's what I did like about. My only issue is that I think that pacing wise, the movie took too long for her to start to change. I think after the conversation they have on the boat, how he is all emotional and opening up to her about his struggles. I think that from there onward is where she should have started to change. But other than that, though, I thought it was good. So, yeah, really says a lot when even the best legacy Lucasfilm sequel is still not entirely perfect.
No.
So that is number 5. Number 4, I think we can all agree with this mostly. Saw X.
Okay.
Never seen it. Still haven't seen it.
It's in my top 10 best films of the year, so I love Saw X.
Oh, I'm not really interested in Saw outside of the first one.
Yeah, I'm with John.
I adored Saw X because what I loved about it is that I know rocket science concept write a story where the main character of your franchise is the main character in the 10th fucking movie. I know, mind blown. But jokes aside, I really liked it. Like I liked how they wrote John Kramer in this. Like he's still they're able to properly write him as sympathetic, and you see what he's doing through the lenses of a man who's desperate to live. But at the same time, they don't lose sight of the fact that, he's Jigsaw. He does what he does. They drew a very fine balance there, and it never felt inconsistent. The traps and the gore, neither are near the gnarliest that this franchise has gotten. But I was fine with it because I get it. Like, in context of this film with the timeline, it's still his early days. Like, it's just after the first film, so of course his traps aren't going to be that elaborate yet. So it made sense for me.
My favorite scene was the when the guy was eating his brain just to survive.
Oh yeah,
dude. It was uncomfortable, but it was a good scene in terms of horror and gore and stuff.
But yeah, so that was I will probably give you that as one of the more gnarly scenes with the franchise.
Yeah.
But my only real complaint being, I struggle to call it a complaint because I know we're getting a sequel, but the ending, like they leave the chick alive and all that, and I'm like this chick was the face of this scam. Like she should have gotten it the worst. But she's probably going to get it later on in Saw 11 because we know they're doing a Saw 11. So I won't be. So I'm more forgiving of it now that we actually know that there's going to be another movie. And even then, that's all about if they actually make it a sequel to Saw X. So that's what it all depends on. So as is, I'll give them a break with the ending, I suppose.
Also, one of the other complaints I had was Shawnee Smith coming back as Amanda. She's playing a younger, like 15, 16-year-old character. But she's like 40-something years old now. So they didn't really... You see that the age difference between this one you know, and then when you saw it 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think
know,
her acting
yeah.
made up for it though.
That's fair. It's so recognizable. And
Oh yeah, like visually it was.
Yeah,
it's like Anthony Hopkins in Red Dragon.
But he does it better.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
This one is number 3 is probably totally going to be a me thing, but yeah, number 3, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Look, we all know the backstories with these grindhouse movies. This is based off of a fake little mock trailer that was played in the middle of that grindhouse double feature film with Death Proof and Planet of Terror. And one by one, all those fake trailers got movies made about them with Hobo with a Shotgun and Machete. But I don't know if it's just me. I think I can safely say that the one people wanted the most was Thanksgiving. So it was kind of highly anticipated in that sense. Highly anticipated by me as well. My only real gripe with the film is that it didn't have the grindhouse editing to it. You know, like how the Planet of Terror looked, and I think Death Proof had that grain on the film with the editing as well. So, but other than that, though, I really enjoyed it. I liked how it had vibes of Scream, but it wasn't trying to rip off Scream. Again, another instance of them having a nice little balance there. And the gore, more than delivered. Like, this is why this is my favorite horror film of the year. Like, the one horror film I was excited for this year, I mean Saw X had good gore too, but this is the one horror film this year where I was really excited for it, and I was really hyped to see if it was going to have satisfying gore in it, because Cocaine Bear didn't. Freaking, what else was there? Freaking Cobweb or Pet Cemetery, The Exorcist, all those were disappointing in the blood and gore department. But Thanksgiving fully embraced the concept. The kills were Thanksgiving themed, where it's like stab someone in the ears with little corn cob things, cook someone in an oven like a turkey, even lathering them in that shit you put on turkeys and all. Like it was fun. It had fun with it. And the opening of this movie is probably one of my favorite openings to a horror film I have seen in a long fucking time, because I loved how the tension was building, because, you know, it's a Black Friday scenario, and it ends in a riot and all that, people trying to get into the store. And I loved how they shot it too. Like they're trying to keep the people behind the gates, but they're all crying out. But it was the tension and the dread that was going on. I loved it. So
I agree. I also like the dark comedy in the movie. I was surprised at some of the funny moments in the movie. Though being from Boston, I thought the overused Boston accent didn't really need to be needed, because it's taking place in Plymouth, and nobody in Plymouth talks like they're from Southie.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun film. I mean, I didn't think it was great. I mean, it wasn't overly clever, but I mean, what they did right, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Actually fully embracing the concept and the way they did the kills and all that stuff. Oh, and plus what you said with the dark humor, like when they had the scene there with the cat, that was really funny. Because you think, oh my god, is he gonna kill the cat? I'm gonna walk out if he kills the cat. I was like, I'm not joking. I was gonna walk out if he killed the cat. But then he's just like, oh yeah, they get you some food, and he just walks out. That was great. Like the scene itself was actually funny, but you know me, I'm very sensitive when it comes to animal stuff. So I'm like, yeah, good.
Yeah, I also say like the reveal of John Carver was very predictable, because the last 30 minutes you already knew who it was, because I forgot the character's name, but she was running away from John Carver. Then she sees Patrick Dempsey passed out somewhere, and you just kind of knew it was him, because you see the dirt on his shoes while he's like laying down by or laying on the ground or by his police car. And that's the only nitpick I had about the movie, was how easily you got really predictable of who the killer was.
You know, it's funny though, because on a second watch, I see how that all tied together and how it made it very obvious. But the But the first time, they actually threw me a loop with the red herring of how they're making it look like, oh, the other guy, the ex-boyfriend is the killer. That they were actually getting me there. So
where they got me at first was I thought, do you remember when John Carver was dressed as the clown and then he shots Patrick Dempsey? Once it was revealed that Patrick Dempsey was John Carver, I'm like, where's the other killer? Because if he's getting shot right in front of everybody else, then someone's in on it with him. So they never really like revealed who was the second killer, if there was a second killer.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's over nitpicking it, but I did enjoy the movie. I really.
You get what I mean? Though, it's like on a second watch, I see how it actually becomes more obvious. Like once you start to put the pieces together. But I had a lot of fun with Thanksgiving. Like that was just, of the horror films this year, this was the most fun horror film of the year, at least for me.
I agree.
Like, and plus, I actually think Eli Roth improved himself. Maybe not so much with the writing because you still have the same kind of dialogue, which fair. But I actually think he really improved himself as a filmmaker here. So I dug it. So that's number 3. All right, number 2.
What's good, Android?
Hey, what's up?
All right, number 2 is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker Revitalized. To those who do not know, this is a story. There's this YouTube channel that I have subscribed to where they did fully animated redos of The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Then they kept some things from the movies as is, but for the most part, the narratives were different. In The Last Jedi, Luke actually leaves the island, takes action against Snoke, and he doesn't die. There's no casino subplot, and the way they use Finn is actually more fully developing his rivalry with Captain Phasma. So there are a lot of ways I feel like they improved the filmmaking there, even though I do like Last Jedi as is. Now with Rise of Skywalker, the narrative is almost completely flipped, aside from still having Exegol. I didn't want to spoil this because I really wanted some of you guys to watch this, like in the context that you really hated the sequel trilogy, because I really think this could redeem it for you. But this film this version picks up like a year later. It's on Coruscant, and Luke is trying to train Rey, but he senses a darkness in her. And then the First Order takes over Coruscant. It's kind of taking inspirations from the Duel of the Fates script. But the big thing that I love was because they kind of frame it throughout the film to kind of still make it look like it is still Palpatine there. But then they reveal halfway through that it was all an illusion from Darth Plagueis. And that he was the one who had been masterminding everything the whole time. And it was actually explained because he's already someone who had mastered the ability to avoid death. So it's fully believable that he would still be around because, again, he knows how to avoid death. So if anyone could come back from the dead, it's Darth Plagueis. And the ways that it's still tied into Rey having this darkness inside her, that all of a sudden felt a lot better because you don't have those narrative restraints of, oh, she's his granddaughter, and we gotta pander to the PPs who hated Last Jedi. All that freaking negative aspects of this narrative is gone, and it's more satisfying. Like this, because my big issue with Rise of Skywalker is that, I mean, aside from how it disrespected the characters, was that it didn't feel final. Like, this is supposed to be the final Skywalker Saga movie, but it doesn't feel final. The final battle doesn't feel final. The way they resolve the character arcs doesn't feel final. It just feels like another Star Wars movie, another battle. This actually has that feel of finality to it. So, even though I give away most of it, like, if you were tainted by the sequel trilogy, my advice, watch Force Awakens again as is, then watch these two versions.
Or just don't watch Rise of Skywalker at all and just watch the allegedly better fan-made versions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, watch The Force Awakens as is, then watch these two.
Oh, I thought Zach, I think you said Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, watch these two fan film versions. Yeah, watch The Force Awakens as is, then watch these two fan film versions of Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I guarantee that it'll feel like a more cohesive trilogy, but just give it a shot and see if it makes this trilogy better for you. Because the animation looks weird. It's like that Star Wars duel kind of thing, it's like kind of like a game online. That's how they use it to animate this and make the movie. But even if the animation looks weird for you, it will be worth it for the vast improvements in storytelling, how they use the characters. It is all so much infinitely fucking better. I would compare it and call it like Snyder cut levels of improvement. Like these are that good. Like it actually redeems the sequel trilogy to me. Like I can now watch this trilogy and not feel just freaking empty. Because Rise of Skywalker makes me feel empty, like the actual movie. So there's that. All right. All right. Oh, here we go. All right. So, how I said I had a tie on my list? You hadn't seen them on the list yet, so you're probably wondering what the tie was going to be. Here it is. My number one is a tie with Elemental and Wonka. Now, I mentioned earlier when I was ranting about Beau is Afraid that this was a really fucking depressing year for me. And I've already went over why, so you know why. And I mentioned there that the reason that my favorites of the year are my favorites of the year are because of what this year was like. So, like, Elemental was already very heartfelt, and it just got me out of that little funk that I was in. It was very sweet. I liked the characters, and even though it was predictable, I liked the love story, and it just got me in a good mood again that I hadn't like really fully been in for months at that point. And then Wonka was that, but tenfold. Like, I was in tears for like the last 10 to 5 minutes of this movie because in a year it just felt like everything was going wrong for me. But then things started picking up in like October. So my sister survived her pregnancy, and now I'm an uncle. I got a job in December, and my family is just so much more proud of me now. And the things that Wonka kind of talked about with how he wants to make his mother proud, and follow his dream and all that. So that scene at the end, where he sees his mother and all that, that's what fucking got me, man, because it clicked. And look, I know that it was mostly saccharine and that it lacked the dark undertones of the source material. But I really didn't mind so much because I get what they're going for. This is a younger, more optimistic Willy Wonka. So the tone the tone won me over, and it really worked for me. So it was funny, it was heartwarming, touching. Like, that's not a term I use a lot. It was touching. And you know me, the kind of films I like. So
what was it touching, Zach?
It touched my heart.
It touched you inappropriately, didn't it, Zach?
Oh, but you get what I mean. It was just very, very heartwarming, and it's just, what I would call it. It was the emotional palate cleanser that I needed after a year like this. Wonka and Elemental, both, and that's why I couldn't separate these two, because they've delivered similar things for me, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Number one, both Elemental and Wonka. Now, before I get into my most anticipated of the year, if any of you want to share a few from your lists for best and worst, you are free to. And so I think Dylan is muted. So John, if you want to go first, you can.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I'm chewing. Yeah, I had a couple I wanted to share. But sorry, I'm eating M&Ms right now. So I just wanted to say a couple good, couple bad, and then I'll save most anticipated for talking about later. These aren't in order. I grab bagged 5 that I really liked that just like a quick talk about sort of thing. Both bad and good. Similar with yours, I'll do bad first and then good. So my 5th bad, well, I guess it's not really 5-1, but my first bad movie to me was Renfield. I felt that was really disappointing. I didn't really like that. You have Nick Cage as Dracula, and they screwed the pooch on that. It's like that is set up for the greatest movie of the year, and you fucked that up. Congratulations. Next one is a comedy special. Jim Gaffigan, Dark Pale. Usually I pretty much almost every single Jim Gaffigan comedy special has hit properly, and even here he includes way more dark humor, and I'm all for that. But here, just most of the jokes just didn't hit, and he hasn't really had a bad special since Cinco, which was I don't even know how many years ago that was. Definitely pre-pandemic, which is a shame because I love his work, and I think he can do a lot of good, both film and comedy specials, but it just didn't hit. Then another one, this one goes for more overrated, but Dylan's New Nightmare, short fan film. I just for like a couple of days straight, everyone was sucking this movie's dick for just how great the Freddy guy was. And don't get me wrong, the guy who played Freddy was really good. But the rest of the short film had like no fucking story at all, and it just kind of exists, and it's like, why is everybody loving this movie? It makes no fucking sense to me. The kid, I don't know his name, the kid who played the original kid in New Nightmare. Yeah. He grew up, he played him again, and that's cool. I like seeing him. He does a relatively good job, but it's just like everyone was like just eating the ass of this fucking movie for fucking like weeks, and I'm like, it's not that good. Calm down. And then another one I wanted to mention, Exorcist Believer. You already talked about it. I don't hate it as much as other people do, but it definitely is. A lot of it's just one giant missed opportunity in terms of anything story or character related. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's certainly really weak, and they really need to course correct if they're going to make a whole fucking trilogy of this, or just cancel it outright. But that's just my opinion. And then the last bad movie I wanted to talk about was a recent one, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. We just did a review on it. But yeah, this is another one where a lot of it is missed opportunities, and just not good. It's had some good moments here and there, but definitely an extremely weak movie. But
sorry about that, by the way, Rob.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I was just a little confused because when I got home, I already saw there were 6 people. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I was gonna be letting people on as the stream was still going, but yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah, and then no, you're good, Rob. You're good. But yeah, the 5 good movies. Well, some of them aren't movies, but the 5 good things I wanted to talk about. Number 5 is again just one of the movies. Again, not in order, just random grab bag of stuff. Doctor Who, The Wild Blue Yonder. Hey, look, Doctor Who is good again, guys. We swear. And this was a very fine example of it. Anybody who watched the show and then quit after the horribleness of the Last Doctor's era, then I would say, hey, it's good again. The recent Christmas special wasn't that great, but the new Doctor is good. But Wild Blue Yonder, it definitely had a lot of high concept ideas, not totally perfect, but the chemistry between David Tennant and Catherine Tate was fantastic. The villains were really cool. It definitely had a lot of Big Finish vibes. It was a lot of horror vibes. It's just like even if you don't know Doctor Who, it's just a really well done special, and definitely one of the best like Doctor Who related things we've got in years. So I'll take it. It was very well done, and I was surprised with how good it was. Another movie. Another one was. Wait, sorry. What'd you say, Zach?
Oh, I was just gonna make a joke, okay, but it's kind of like how I swapped out the Children of the Corn remake to put Pet Sematary Bloodlines on my list. It's because I couldn't remember a thing about the Children of the Corn remake, and that Skinamarink was kind of the same. It's like, what could I even say? I couldn't remember a thing about it.
That's fair.
It was bad.
Then next one is a documentary, Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. It was all about how Michael J. Fox's career prior to and then getting Parkinson's. Very well done. It's not. I was apprehensive to watch it because I thought it would be like really depressing and sad, but the way that Fox treats his disease, it's not like with like pity and oh woe is me. Is like he's like, I'm gonna fight until the end, no matter what. I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna be the best man I could possibly be, and it's very nice and inspiring. Considering that he is in one of my favorite movies of all time, and I do really like him and commend him as an actor. He just, it's just like, it's a very nice and inspiring story. It's sad because it's like, he seems like such a great guy, and he unfortunately gets this debilitating disease, and we don't want to see that from him, but the way he handles it is just very well done. And the documentary, with how it's edited, with how it's paced, with how it's told, like the recreation and clips from his movies, it was very engaging. On top of that, then another one is Fall of the House of Usher. Mike Flanagan, just the man can shit out gold, no problem. Like, you don't really need to fucking keep, like, the man can do no wrong. I am awaiting the day where he finally makes something shitty, because honestly, I kind of want to see him do something bad, because I don't think this man is human. I don't think he's human. I think he made a deal at a crossroads like 20 years ago, and he just hasn't gotten the shit end of the stick yet. Mike Flanagan, honestly, I kind of beg of you, please make something bad just to prove that you're a human being. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Then, ironically, with my worsts, I had a Jim Gaffigan thing, but now with my best, I have another Jim Gaffigan thing. An indie film called Linoleum. I can't really explain this movie. It's about a guy who's having a midlife crisis, and a rocket like lands in his backyard, crashes into his backyard, and then it kind of goes from there. Very hard to explain, but it's one of those movies you have to experience for yourself. Very well done, and the ending is a great emotional gut punch. Very trippy, very odd, but a very well done film. And then, of course, I wanted to talk about Oppenheimer, because I knew this fucking idiot wouldn't have it on his list. So, because Oppenheimer, just such an excellent film.
Really is a great film.
Arguably the best of the year. Even though it's not my favorite, it's not really my number one, but it's probably the best movie I've seen all year. It's severely.
It is excellent. A very good film.
It's just the way, I see so many people. It's like, oh, it's just scientists talking for 3 hours. It's so boring, and I'm like,
no, it's
fuck
great.
Yourself. Go fuck yourself.
It's amazing.
Go take a cactus and shove it so far up your asshole that you can taste it. And keep doing that until you fucking die. No, I'm just kidding. But, just shut up. Oppenheimer, excellent. Watch
it. Amazing movie.
So amazing, and I wanted to talk about it. So, I don't know where Zach went, so I guess since Dylan is now back,
I think it's my turn, right? Yeah.
So try to go as soon as you can, because this is already 90 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, we can all thank Zach for that. Yeah. Okay. So my best list from I'm gonna start with my special mentions because I went from 15 to number 1. Okay. These the first 4 here are pretty much like my special missions. What's up, Zach? Number 15 is Cocaine Bear. I actually saw this movie. This is not necessarily a movie that I normally would go watch, but I had a couple friends, shout out to Ninja243. He wanted me to see this movie, and it was just something fun to kind of sit back and do something stupid, watch it. Like it's not a film that I would ever watch again, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw it with my buddy. I'm glad I was able to laugh at it. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Number 14, Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. Not that bad of a film. Special mention. It's not that bad of a film. Number 13, okay, The Flash. Okay, I don't want to get too far into it because you know then we'll be here all day. I actually don't like the actor, but I have to give credit where credit is due. This is the only Flash movie that he was good in. I don't like Flash in the other movies that he's portrayed in. This movie, he was actually a good actor. Too bad the actor himself. Well, you know the actor himself. I'm gonna finish my sentence there. This movie overall, I'm not into DC that much, and I thought it was a pretty alright film. Like, it's not the best thing ever, but it's not the worst. I was okay with it. Okay, number 12, special mentions. Okay, Invincible season 2, the half that we got was really good. I enjoyed that. And number 11. Number 11 is really interesting because here's the thing. I only put this on my list because when I think of these movies, you know, especially kids films, I'm like, okay, what do I want to show my niece and nephew? What's there for the next generation, right? And there really isn't a lot for the next generation at all. Number 11 is number 1, Tales of Sordor, which is and I can't believe I'm saying this, the fact that this is on my list is straight up sad, but it's like the only thing I have that's actually interesting. Thomas. It's about freaking Thomas the Train for Babies, and literally it's way more interesting than anything Hollywood is doing right now, and I'm actually interested in it. That's how bad Disney and just Hollywood has gotten. That a stupid train is far better than anything that they've been producing right now. And you know I love Thomas, man. But Thomas Tales of Sordor by Luke Locust, which is a fan-made project, is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. It's insane. Dude, I love Thomas, but like, it's sad that this is on my list. I'm 27, 28 years old. It's sad that this is on my list. Okay, number 10, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 was great. Looking forward to Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3. And then number 9, the Mario movie. I really actually disagree with my buddy Zach over here. I think the Mario movie was really, really fantastic. It was a lot of fun. The characters were really good. I could go on and on about this film, but I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be. Mario was good. Like it wasn't that great, but it was alright. Okay, number 8, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. This movie was straight up better than Mario, and I don't care who said it. It was funny. It was fun. It was something me and my cousins went in to go see, and we just had a blast watching it. It was just straight up a fun movie to see. Probably the funnest movie I've seen all year. Number 7, Scream 6. Now, I've just gotten into Scream thanks to my buddy here, Zach Galatiola, and thank you for getting me into it. And, I liked Scream 6. It wasn't, like, the best of the franchise, but it was far from the worst. Like, Scream 6 was actually really fun. I pretty much lost faith in Scream 7 now, but Scream 6 was at least a good way to end the series. I honestly think you should have stopped with Scream 5, but Scream 6 was decent at least. Number 6, Pneumonia. This film is straight up amazing. I cannot believe how great Pneumonia is. and it's just creativity. It's just straight up new creativity, something that this world is seriously lacking at this point, man. And then number 5, The Magician's Elephant. Now we're getting to my top 5. The Magician's Elephant. If you guys haven't seen that movie, that is another movie where I'm like, I actually want to show my niece and nephew this when they're a little older and they can actually kind of, I guess they can actually watch the film. My niece and nephew are literally like 2 and 1 year old. So when they're a little older, I'm going to show them this movie for sure. But The Magician's Elephant, it was just a nice, fresh new story. I've never read the original book. It was just a nice, fresh new story that came out on Netflix. And of all things, Netflix. I'm actually very surprised that Netflix, of all things, they actually put out some good films from time to time. Not everything Netflix does comes out now is gold, but sometimes they have diamond in the roughs, and this is definitely a diamond in the rough. Pneumonia was a diamond in the rough. Definitely go check out those films. I cannot recommend them enough. Pneumonia and The Magician's Elephant. Okay, my top 4 here. You know this was going to be on this list. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was just flat out brilliant. Just brilliant. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that movie. If you haven't gone and seen it, go watch it. It's brilliant. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Marvel, just Disney as a whole. Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, that whole company is just set on fire, and I'm sitting here watching it burn. And at this point, I don't even care anymore. They put out 1 gem. I'm very surprised they actually put out 1 gem. I forgot that this even came out this year. Like I thought this was gonna be my first list that wasn't going to have a Disney movie on it. But I am more than surprised that they actually put out 1 good film this year, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Great film. I actually really enjoyed it. Number 2, Oppenheimer. The fact that, and literally this actually was my number 1 before my number 1 actually came out. But the fact that this straight up was my number 1 film was such a bleak, because I'm really not into films like this, but this is really a bleak subject, and I feel like this being a film that was potentially my number 1 favorite film of this year, I think that really states how bad Hollywood has gotten. If this is my number 1 film, because I'm usually the guy that likes happy-go-lucky films, and this one was really bleak, but it's such a brilliant film. It's such a brilliant take on. It's very artistic as well, the way it's portrayed, the way it's filmed. It's really interesting, fantastic film. But my best movie of the year, without a doubt, is Wonka. And here's the thing. When I heard this film was coming out, I'm like, because, you know, remakes, reboots, prequels, sequels, these days, especially more than ever, they really have a god-awful name, and all they tend to do, is they literally take some of the best original content out there and run their names through the mud. I'm looking at you, Disney. I'm looking at The Lion King. I'm looking at all of those live action remakes. I'm looking at Star Wars. You know what I'm talking about. They are literally just taking these great names and running them through the mud. Wonka was a fantastic film, and it really hit me hard as well, and I actually plan to do a review for it on my own channel. This movie hit home great. It was it just brought back the magic of childhood again for me, and God, I can go on and on about it, but all I'm gonna say is if you haven't seen this movie, for whatever reason, please go see it. It's worth a watch. All right. So, my bad / disappointing films. Okay. Attack on Titan Season 4, the ending came out this year. I did not like the ending of it. There. I said, sorry if you do. That's just my opinion on it. Okay, the next one. Ahsoka. I know. Zach is getting ready to kick me right now.
That's for blasphemy.
What is wrong with Ahsoka? Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. I am not one of those people who are out there who like just absolutely can't stand anything Disney puts out and hates Disney, even though I've sounded like it throughout this entire stream. But the thing is, Ahsoka was really great. It was. But you did the one thing. And I even said it when I saw the trailers. If this one thing is done, I'm done with Disney. I'm done with Star Wars. And literally, I'm out. I'm done with Disney. I am done with Star Wars because of this one thing. You made Sabine Wren Force sensitive. And I'm sorry. I know that sounds petty, but it's not the fact that you just made Sabine Wren Force sensitive. It's everything that they've done, and Sabine Wren being Force sensitive is my final straw, because she was an amazing character and she did not need the Force. Giving her the Force literally makes her it just makes her generic to me. It literally ruins her character. I can't stand Star Wars anymore, and that brings up to the next one. Of course, Mando Season 3 was god-awful. God-awful. Okay. Most anticipated films. I was actually really surprised at how long this list was, because I haven't thought about it for a while. I thought, okay, I have at least 2 or 3, but I'm surprised I actually have 8 that I'm looking forward to.
Alright, so...
Oh, wait, are we not doing that yet?
Not yet. I'll go through mine first, and then...
Oh, okay. Well, I'll save that for later on.
Right, so you went through your best and your worst. John did.
Now it's Rob's turn.
Do the rest of you want to give a few picks on your list? Not full list, but...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Mark,
sure.
Go Rob, then Rome, then Mark, because Mark always likes to go last.
Yeah, okay. So which one are we starting on? Best or worst?
Doesn't matter.
Worst first, so then you can reward yourself with that.
Okay, then. So I'm going to save my entire worst of the year list for our Cool Kids stream. I don't want to spoil too much, but I will pick 5 movies that this year that I really did not like at all. I won't say like maybe they might be on the worst of the year list. Maybe they're going to be dishonorable mentions. I'll let you decide on that. So, because I don't want to spoil too much, but there are some movies that I do want to talk about. So I just randomly picked movies from my entries, and some of them are even dishonorable mentions. But let's see here. I'm also going to pick the ones that nobody has really talked about yet. So, one pick that I have on my list is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So, good God. I mean, okay, this may not be the worst comic book movie this year, but that's seriously not saying much. It's still shit. So, from Jason Momoa trying to copy Thor and shit and blunder. Sorry, I don't mean to give you Vietnam flashbacks, John. I didn't mean to give you flashbacks of that. So, but he was so overly jokey to the point where it seems like James Wan was trying to copy Taika Waititi's in a way. And the CGI was terrible. There was no arc. Aquaman goes through no arc whatsoever. So, but yeah, I'll keep it brief. So, but fuck this movie. Another one on my worst of the year. This is I'm going to say this one is a dishonorable mention, but I still want to talk about it since it most likely won't be on anyone's worst of the year. Nun 2. Now, I never saw the first Nun, and the reason I only saw this was because my brother wanted to see all of the Conjuring movies, And since we had literally nothing else to do, I just swallowed the bullet and just said, fuck it. So, and yeah, it was shit. It was shit. The jump scares were annoying. The acting was terrible. Just nothing worked about it. And it's not scary at all. What the fuck? Another one is going to be, another one on my worst is Mafia Mama. I mean, honestly, this was just really irritating for me. It was very irritating. I mean, it's just like the jokes don't work. Toni Collette is annoying as fuck. It's just very irritating for me. This one, I know no one's going to have this on their list because nobody but me has seen this movie. Knights of the fucking Zodiac. Fuck this movie. Oh my god. As someone who loves anime, this is just one of those, what the fuck were they kind of thinking with this? Nothing worked. The acting was terrible. The effects were a joke. You waste Fonka Jenkins and Sean Bean. Yeah, Sean Bean is in this movie. And they don't give two shits about being in it. What the... And not to mention, the fight scenes look like something out of a PlayStation 2 cutscene, like a fighting game. It was just awful. And one more I'll mention is 65, which was so boring. It's so boring. I mean, you have Adam Driver and dinosaurs, and you make it boring.
And y'all wanted to review this more than Scream 6.
Blame the guy at the end. Blame the guy at the end. You wanted to review 65, remember?
Fuck Scream 6. Fuck the whole Scream franchise.
6 was good, man.
Fuck the whole Scream franchise. I'm glad that franchise is fucking dying. I hope it fucking dies a painful death.
But Zach, I'll say this. I seriously owe you an apology. I owe you an apology. Okay, so I guess that's my 5 random bad ones. Like I said, you'll see the worst later. So the 5 random good ones I picked. Let's see here. Let's start with 1001. This movie is beautiful. I love this movie through so much, with all of the characters, the interactions, just the setting, just the tone it's going for. And I will say this: I don't care what anybody else says. Lucky is the best, is one of, if not the best character in any film that came out this year. Fight me. It's probably more of a personal thing for me because I had just got engaged recently, and
Congrats.
thank you so much. I have a stepson, so now, future son once the wedding gets planned.
Yeah,
you get what I mean. But anyway, I understand exactly what Lucky is going through because he's trying to fill in the father figure shoes for the kid in this movie, Terry. So, and that's exactly how I feel. It's like it works so much, and just what happens, it brought me to tears. I won't spoil too much, but if you haven't seen it, go see 1001. It is amazing. Let's see here. What's another one that won't be on anyone's? Okay, so this one's not going to be in my... This is going to be an honorable mention, but I just have to talk about this movie because I know that none of these assholes are going to have it on their list. And you know what? The haters can go eat a fucking dick. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I love this. This is so much fun. As someone who actually did read like the Scott Pilgrim comics and all, and loves the movie, you can say they pretty much did a bait and switch kind of thing, which I get that, but I mean, to me it was still a lot of fun. It was I really liked all these characters, and it's just I liked how it was trying to take things in a different direction for me. So I don't care what the haters say. they can go eat a dick.
You have some strange persecution fetish, brother, because literally no one is hating on you for liking Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
But I'm saying people on the internet. You know how people are bitching about that kind of shit. I'm not talking about you guys in general. I'm not talking about you guys in general. I'm talking about the people on the internet.
All right, well, I get that because I feel you have a lot of Snyder haters out there. Look, here's my thing. I get if you don't like Rebel Moon. I get that Snyder's not everybody's thing. But you have a certain segment of Snyder haters out there who are actually rooting for the guy to fail, and it's actually fucking ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really sucks.
Today's world, right?
But anyway, yeah, Scott Pilgrim takes off. Such an awesome Netflix series. So, let me see what else I really want to talk about. This is another one on my list. Past Lives. I love Past Lives. It just shows so much with the interactions with the characters. I love the chemistry. Just the score is excellent. The characters, the acting, just everything. All of it is just fantastic for me, and just all of it's just different themes and message. The themes, yeah, I know. It's just a fantastic movie. I'll talk about it more when we do our Cool Kids stream. And there's actually two I want to mention because, again, this is probably going to be one that is on nobody but mine's top 10.
By the way,
I don't give two flying fucks.
Wait. I was going to, by the way. The themes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, anyway, I was going to say my last two that I was going to mention, they're ones I just really need to talk about it because I feel like no one else will. Suzume and The Boy and the Heron. Both of them are excellent films. I love both of them. But the animation is beautiful on both of them. I love the characters. I love its message, like its themes about grief and all, and learning to how can you be able to move on, just learning to accept kind of thing. So they both do this wonderfully. The themes. But yes, John. I do like a Studio Ghibli film. What gave that away? But yeah, both of them, great movie. I can't hear you, dude. You're muted.
To be fair, you don't suck Studio Ghibli's dick. You can't admit when they make a bad movie.
Oh, yeah.
Earwig, I'm looking at you.
Earwig and the Waves, Tales from Mercy, and Ocean Waves.
Grave of the Fireflies. I'm just kidding.
Grave of the Fireflies is awesome, although that's really hard to watch.
Excruciatingly depressing.
It's very difficult to watch.
For a different reason. Not terrible in quality, terrible in
You know, it's funny though. Now it's probably going to be even longer before I choose to watch Grave of the Fireflies because after things like Elemental and Wonka just lifted my spirits when I really needed it. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that.
But Grave of the Fireflies, yeah, just watch that whenever you feel comfortable. But anyway, going back to the two, Suzume and Boy the Harem, great movies. And you know what? I will say this. I don't give a fuck what anyone else here says. Both are better than Across the Spider-Verse. Don't fucking at me.
give him the Oscar. Alrighty, so those your picks?
Well, yeah, those are just my random picks. So, like I said, you'll see what my full list is on the Cool Kids.
All right, Rome's.
So I'm just gonna throw out 5, maybe 6 good movies to go watch on digital for the holiday break. John Wick Chapter 4. It's the cream of the crop action movies of this year. Great nunchuck scene. Go watch John Wick Chapter 4. Another movie I just saw recently, When Evil Lurks. Really good horror movie. It's in Argentina, but it's a good story. Good demon possession movie. Another movie, The Artifice Girl. Well, you guys kind of told me about Artifice Girl earlier this year. That's a great story, great movie about AI and the variety of different things that happened in that movie. Another good movie that came out from Amazon Prime was Air with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Great cast, good story. And the fifth one, I'd say The Creator by John David Washington. It's on Hulu. Those are 5 movies you can find on digital right now during the holiday break. Go check those movies out. Really good movies. You won't be disappointed. For worst movies, I'll just give you 3. David Gordon Green's Exorcist Believer. That movie sucked balls, and I can talk how bad that movie is, like over and over and over again. The other one, Skinamarink. That's just a waste of time. You're just staring at walls. And third one, I'll say Expendables 4. That movie was just horrible in theaters. It's if you're a fan of Sylvester Stallone and you wanted a good action movie, you'll be disappointed with Expendables 4. For TV shows, I'll say Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. It's on Apple TV. Great show in terms of like the the Monster universe that's going on. And Reacher season 2 on Amazon Prime. That's another good show to check out. And I'll say for specials, big Power Ranger fan, go check out Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. That's another good special to check out. So that's my best, worst, and for TV shows I would recommend.
All righty, Mark.
For me, I'm just going to pick some random bad films and good films that may or probably won't make my final list, but I just wanted to mention them anyway. The first bad film I'm going to talk about is I'm a Farmer. Oh my God!
I know that reference.
Yeah, Ghosted. My God, I'm just going to read my review real quick. Anthony Mackie, you two should get a room. Me, why? They clearly hate each other. They've been dicks to each other the whole movie. Chris Evans, I'm a farmer. Oh, no, you aren't. Just kick that train killer's ass. You're Captain America. John Jones, you two should get a room. Right, because they have chemistry. Whatever you say, Harold and Kumar. Chris Evans, I'm a farmer. I have a cactus. Dude, what are you talking about? You just kicked another train killer's ass with that cactus. You are clearly Captain America. Anna de Armas, I have no time for men because I have closed myself off to relationships. Okay, you're hot, so I'll allow it. Still dumb, though, for the record. They didn't need that to bet about you losing your mom at a young age. The fact that you're a spy should be enough. But I don't care because you're gorgeous, and no, I am not totally in love with you. Did I mention that you're hot? Chris Evans, I'm a farmer. I have a cactus. Oh, Christ almighty. Okay, Cat, whatever. Congrats. Sebastian Stan, you two should get a room. The fuck is this, a Marvel reunion? We get it, okay? They're going to have sex. Adrian Brody, I am a villain with an outrageous French accent. Now give me the passcode or I'm going to punch you with shitty writing a second time. Oh, for the love of... What the hell have you guys done to Adrian Brody? Ryan Reynolds, what the fuck am I doing here? I don't know, man. You would have been more believable than Captain America here. I'm a farmer. We are around. Shut up. Anna de Armas. Okay, I love you now because reasons. I would have saved you, Captain America. This dress is so practical for fighting. My character totally wasn't written by men. Chris Evans. I love you too, even though I spent the whole movie calling you a sociopath. Look, I'm killing trained park killers and hitmen. Farming really prepared me for this. Me. Wow, you two should get a room. Jesus Christ.
I'm a farmer.
I'm a farmer.
Jesus Christ. We have a ghost. We have a boring ass movie, more likely. Dear God, that was bad. Sharper, which should have been called Duller. Dear God, that was. There's nothing sharp about this film. You can see everything coming a mile away. It starts out pretty interesting, just like a series of vignettes going back further in time, but eventually it becomes pretty fucking obvious what they're doing, and it's like, oh yeah, okay. You see it coming a mile away.
That's one I didn't bother with this year because the trailers looked horrendous anyway. So.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. The Meg 2 is so bad it's good. I honestly almost gave it a good rating because it was just so bad. I had to almost give it a good rating because I laughed so fucking much. Jason Statham at one point literally holds back a fucking megalodon's mouth with his goddamn feet. What the fuck?
Wait, what did Jack say about it? He's like, The Meg cannot handle Jason Statham's stupidity or something like that.
Oh, Meg, do you have schizophrenia?
The Megalodon is no match for Jason Statham's
it's so stupid.
complete lack of emotion.
No, you're like, that's stupid.
Really stupid.
Oh my god.
And that one's you said that one was Shut Up Meg 2?
Yeah, Shut Up Meg 2. Oh dear God. Fool's Paradise. Dear God, I expected something more from this. I mean, seriously.
The trailers look so good.
It did. It's Charlie fucking Day.
I recommend it to you. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this. You're like, okay, cool, I'll watch it first, and then you watch. You're like, dude, it fucking sucks. Don't bother. I'm like, well, shit.
Ass. Seriously.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Mark.
Oh my God, it's ass.
Thank you for
your sacrifice.
Seriously. Also, I'm gonna have to put Quantumania in there too, because dear God, that was bad. Holy shit. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, another couple other bad spy movies, basically. Heart of Stone and Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. Can we just fucking stop Guy Ritchie from making movies at this point? Dear fucking God.
You liked The Covenant, right?
I did like The Covenant. Yeah, The Covenant was actually really great. So, but on the positives, what's that?
To be fair, Mark, the thing is, he is directing the next movie Henry Cavill is starring in, so don't write him off just yet.
Yeah, really.
So you're gonna have to watch that when it comes out, whenever that comes out.
Oh God,
February.
Yeah, shit. For the good movies, you know what? I was gonna do some of the fun movies I like this year, like that aren't gonna make my list for the best, like Megan and Totally Killer. You know, movies that were just like a whole lot of fun that I enjoyed. But I think instead I'm going to give a shout out to. I got to give a shout out to the films where I've seen some titties this year. I got to see Jennifer Lawrence, Nia Goth, and shit. What was the one I just
Lawrence
watched?
Pugh?
Emma Stone. Lawrence Pugh. Yeah.
And I'm going to try to watch it tomorrow. Emma Stone. And I'll get to see it tomorrow. Emma Stone. Nude on film. That is a fucking winning season, man. Out there, my man. I mean, you can't. I mean, you're talking full frontal too. So I mean, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Bush and everything. Yeah.
Damn.
So you gotta love that. So, but yeah, there's. I mean, another one I liked that was a lot of fun. Dungeons and Dragons. You know, was a whole lot of fun. Knock at the Cabin was surprisingly good, and I really did not expect much out of that.
Oh, Knock at the Cabin was almost on my list. It's one of my honorable mentions, though, for best.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there were a lot of Gran Turismo surprising. I got to say that was the first one I've seen with David Harbour, where he's actually like, damn, he's actually finally in a good film. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, Jesus. So good job. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So a lot of good history films this year too, I thought. Obviously Oppenheimer. What?
Huh?
What?
No, I was just laughing in the private chat. Something.
All right, what I'm going to do is. All right, so I will actually. All right, so I'm gonna go around the table and let y'all discuss some of your most anticipated of next year. I will be right back, and then when I'm back, I will give my list for most anticipated of 2024.
Well, wait, Mark? Did you finish with your list or something?
Oh, I mean, pretty much, yeah. I would just gonna say.
What about Seth? What about Seth? Zach.
Yeah, what about me? Huh? Yeah. What about me?
All right, so I'm gonna let y'all go over your list and then
let's let Seth talk about his best and worst.
I gotta head out for something real quick, but I will be
okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Seth.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with some stuff that I would label as mid. All right, mid category. Ant-Man Quantumania. Okay, I know everyone hates this movie. I understand why. I had fun though while watching it for some reason. So I would say it's mid. Shazam 2 is another mid film. All right. There's nothing new, nothing original in Shazam 2. Same thing goes for Blue Beetle. Now, my honorary mentions before we get to the best. Loki season 2 was actually surprisingly good. I was not the biggest fan of Loki season 1. I thought Loki season 2 was way better. The Taylor Swift documentary film, I actually watched that. Was not bad. And then Sound of Freedom. I really like Sound of Freedom. All right, my top 10 best, I put as number 10 Cocaine Bear. Now, why did I put Cocaine Bear at number 10? Why did I do that? It's because I just laughed. I was making such a huge deal with Cocaine Bear going into it. Like, oh my God, this is going to be the best movie of all time. You know, I got legit 25 of my friends just to go watch this movie with me. So it was just a huge big deal. And it's all because I used to make a bunch of cocaine jokes. Like, that's legit why. And it's just funny. It's funny for me. Yeah, that's really that. It's nothing that big. But number 9, The Flash. I get why people don't like this. I can already see. Yeah, I'm already seeing head shakes. I like The Flash because of the emotion from Barry Allen and his mother. I love their dynamic. I love the heart of this movie. Do I support Ezra Miller? Absolutely not. But I will say he actually did okay, though, in this movie. As an actor, not as a person. Number 8, Barbie. Yes, I did watch Barbie. And let me tell you what. I watched it because of... I'm basically the movie reviewer in my school. I have to do it there. So I watched Barbie. Barbie was not bad. I liked it. It wasn't that bad.
I like
number 7, the Super Mario Brothers movie. I loved it. I thought it was really good. You know. Number 6, Guardians Volume 3. I really love Guardians Volume 3. I felt like it was a great send-off for the Guardians characters. And yeah. Number 5, Ahsoka. I liked Ahsoka. A lot of people don't like Ahsoka. That's A-okay. Because one of my biggest problems that Dylan was saying about Sabine being Force sensitive, I have the same problem. But the thing is, I have not felt the love for Star Wars since 2020. Like, since that Luke Skywalker moment in Mandalorian Season 2. Ahsoka brought back that love for Star Wars for me. Like, I was legit excited for each episode. I loved Baylan Skoll. Baylan Skoll was great character. You know, I loved Thrawn. I loved, you know, Ahsoka and seeing Hayden Christensen come back. And, you know, the fact that now Star Wars has a roadmap, basically, leading up to this Dave Filoni film. Star Wars has a direction. I'm game on with it because Marvel seemed to have no direction and DC did not have a direction till now. So, yeah. Number 4, Invincible Season 2 Part 1. I love Invincible, and Season 2 Part 1 was outstanding. Just the 4 episodes we had, outstanding. If you guys don't know anything about Invincible, please go check it out. It's on Amazon. Great show. Number 3, Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's great. I mean, everyone freaking said it's a masterpiece, all right? Number 2, and this is my own personal opinion, The Creator. I love The Creator. I'm sorry. I really love The Creator. I felt like The Creator was an amazing film. And then number 1 is, of course, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. You know, Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have to explain that. Worse, I'm going to quickly go down here. Number 14, The Bad Batch Season 2. There's a lot of filler. Number 13, Wish. Wish, there was like nothing new to the Wish film whatsoever. I'm sorry. I do not like the Wish film. Number 12, Little Mermaid. Oh my god, the CGI on Flounder's face was god-awful, right? Anyway.
Time's up!
What? Oh.
Wow. You love Little Mermaid, Zach?
I forgot Zach.
It wasn't on my best list. I liked it.
How dare you? Anyway, The Meg 2, I thought was bad. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was really bad as well. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was unneeded. I'm sorry. Last Crusade was my ending for the Indiana Jones franchise. I'm sorry. Fast 10. Fast 10 sucks, alright?
You redeemed yourself.
Number 7, and this is one that I was really disappointed with because I was really intrigued. Rebel Moon. I was really looking forward to Rebel Moon. Trust me, I even read the comics that came out for it. Like, they were promoting Rebel Moon very heavily, and it just did not work for me. And apparently, like, there's now a director's cut that's gonna fix it or whatever. I'm over here, like, I'm kind of just sick of Zack Snyder director cuts. Like, come on, guys. Like, just release his crap the way it should, then. But maybe it's just an excuse as well. We don't really know. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Next up is Secret Invasion. I did not like Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was bad. Next up...
They cucked Nick Fury.
Next up, Spider-Man Lotus. I did not hear anyone talk about Spider-Man Lotus, but let me tell you what, Spider-Man Lotus was something else. It was really bad. I hated it.
How many times does he drop the N-word in the movie?
Next up, and this is a personal thing because I've followed this cartoon show since 2012. Ninjago Dragons Rising. Oh my god. So this is the new show after the other show, you know. This is freaking awful. I'm sorry. I cannot stand Dragons Rising. Number 3, The Marvels. Okay. I'll openly admit I bootlegged this and I'm super, like, I didn't even want to watch it. Like, while I was bootlegging it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad. Like, it's even worse than I thought it could be. Like, the plot is all over the place. The characters are all over the place. There's really, like, some people were like, oh yeah, the chemistry's good between characters. I'm over here like, what chemistry? They're just going to this place, they're going to the next, and going to this, and going that. I mean, then they go to dancing. I mean, dancing and singing people, so on and so forth, you know? Number 2, this is another personal one. Riverdale Season 7. I watched Riverdale, and let me tell you what, Riverdale Season 7...
final viewer of Riverdale.
Riverdale Season 7 was god-awful. I hate it so much. The
Was it
show
awful, the
is
musical?
awful.
And can't comment. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen either. It's worse.
Riverdale Season 7 completely. So this is what they did. They decided to do this. So Season 6 really screwed them up because they went so far, like, out of what Riverdale was. to the point
I
where
heard
they're like,
I heard
"All right, we're gonna-"
somebody got Scarlet Witch powers and she Scarlet
Yes,
Witch the universe
that's
or
Cheryl.
something.
Yep. So then they were like, all right, we're gonna reboot the whole show, and guess what? All 6 seasons that came before this never existed. So then season 7 ends with an alternate timeline of the characters, and they're all in
the
50s,
like, doesn't it?
Yeah, the 50s. Yep.
Oh, so
Days
of Future Past. Bad.
But then the funny thing is, though, they just keep the ridiculousness, and it's so stupid to the point of like, oh yeah, we'll remember our 6-season selves, but we're not gonna mention it though. Oh yeah, there's an angel that goes back in time and do this and do that. You know, other things like one of the main questions for a lot of fans, not mine, but it's like, who is Archie gonna end up with, Veronica or Betty? Guess what, guys? They're gonna be a polyamorous relationship.
They're gonna be a throuple.
Jughead is gonna be in the relationship as well. I'm over here like, oh my god. Okay, whatever. Like, okay. Going to number. Going to number 1, and this is my personal thing. Again, like I've already said, The Mandalorian Season 3. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot stand this season.
What happened to this show?
The Mandalorian Season 3 completely, like, it made me, like, cry. Just because I'm like, what happened to this show? What happened? It's like, okay, yeah, Book of Boba Fett was not the best, but come on, now Season 3 doesn't have to be bad, you know? And it's like, yeah, that was bad. Like, honestly, Mandalorian Season 3, to me, is worse than all 3 sequel trilogy movies. I'm sorry. Like, this movie is, I mean, this show, like, Mando is not even the main character. It's Bo-Katan. Like, I'm sorry, but hey, at least Rey was the main character in all 3 movies, right? You knew who was the protagonist, you know? But guess what? Din Djarin was not the protagonist. It was Bo-Katan. And then you also had so many other episodes, like the Jack Black episode and Lizzo, which did not even feel like Star Wars. It was cheaply made as well. It looked like a fan-made film at points, like with the volume and all of that. Moff Gideon, he doesn't even come in till episode 7, and he's the main villain, and then you kill him off in episode 8. Like, okay, why even bring him back? You know? But also then you mention, like, you bring up the whole cloning thing. Like, oh my god, you know, this is what, you know, ever since season 1, this has been like, why is he trying to get Grogu? It's because he's trying to make clones of himself to be force sensitive. So he wants an army of himself. Why? Like, to be force sensitive. I'm over here.
This isn't canon.
There you go. It's not canon.
Well, I'm over here like, if you guys thought Palpatine's whole cloning thing did not make sense, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever with Moff Gideon. Like, why? Like, he became a Saturday like morning cartoon villain in Mando season 3. That's another thing. Also, Grogu doesn't do anything in this season whatsoever. It's like, why?
I honestly thought season 3 was more of a mixed bag to me. I mean, I wouldn't say it's outright bad, but I mean, because there were some episodes I liked, some I really liked, some I didn't like, some I hated. I thought the whole like with I don't know, they never should have brought Grogu back. He should have. His story was finished. It was done. It was, you know, bringing him back was just a gimmick. That's all.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, I feel like though, out of all the things though,
if I could say one more thing, that's Seth.
Yeah.
I do agree that you're absolutely right that he's no longer the main character in his own show. He's been
Yeah.
sidelined to Bo-Katan.
And I will say though, I think season 4 will actually be good though. That's actually one thing I will say
It's
because
being turned into a movie, though. I heard that.
no, that's a rumor. Season 4 though is apparently gonna pick up where Ahsoka was left off, and basically he's going to be hired by Carson Teva, the rebel pilot, to do the missions of, hey, we need info on Thrawn, we need info on the Shadow Council, all this stuff. I'm like, yes, he's going back to be a bounty hunter. That's why we love Mando in the first 2 seasons, was his jobs that he did and all of that. Now we're finally going back to doing that while he's teaching his son, Grogu, how to be a Mandalorian, how to be a bounty hunter, like stuff like that could be cool and fun. So, yeah.
All right, then. So, now comes the part where we're going to talk about our most anticipated releases of 2024. Same rules count. Movies, TV shows, miniseries, because I have all of the above on here. So, I have 14 picks here. No ties, so that's a good thing. And this is one that I actually didn't lock until last night. My best and worst list I already had locked for a few days, but I locked this list last night. Starting with number 14, Nosferatu, the remake.
Nosferatu.
Well, remake of a remake.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not very well versed with vampire movies, especially with Nosferatu. But I have seen the old, like I think it came out in the 20s, the silent film. I liked it enough. I thought it had a lot of atmosphere and suspense. I haven't seen any of the other versions, so that's something I actually want to do this year, is check out the other versions. But that's not much I can really say about this one, other than the few little teaser images we've gotten that look really good, and the cast I'm happy with. So I'm pretty excited for this. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be a good Christmas gift. Number 13, Saw 11. As we mentioned before, I am willing to be more forgiving of the ending of Saw X, provided that the next film actually follows Saw X. It doesn't go anywhere else in the timeline. Because let's be honest, that freaking bitch, she got it too easy. She should have gotten it the worst because she was the face of the scam. So hopefully they'll follow it up pretty good with Saw 11. We know nothing about the plot, only that it's coming out in September. So that's all we have to go on. So I can't say much. Number 12, Sonic 3. Another one I can't say much about because we don't know much about the plot, other than we know Shadow is going to show up. My hopes are kind of two halves.
I forgot that was coming out.
Yeah, so like I said, my hopes for this are split into two halves. One half being that if Jim Carrey doesn't come back, that my hopes are that they replace him with a good enough villain that it feels natural, like that Robotnik being out of the picture just is naturally part of the story, and that it doesn't come up like, oh, we got to come up with another villain who we got to go with, like what they did with Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker. So, but if they do bring Jim Carrey back, this is my other half, that they don't make it too much about him, in the sense that it should still mainly be Sonic and the other ones. Keep that fair balance that you had, especially in the second movie. So, yeah. That's all I can say is about Sonic 3. Number 3, number 11 is just a me thing, but The Amazing Race Season 36. I'm a big reality competition nut. So I love shows like Survivor, The Amazing Race. Not so much Big Brother anymore. I've actually soured on that one, but I digress. This last season was amazing. Like almost every single team of contestants was likable. And I just hope that they keep the streak going with really likable contestants. Number 10, Beetlejuice 2. Look, we all have gripes with the fact that Tim Burton does nothing but sequels and remakes. We miss that flair of originality that he always used to bring to the table. But you know what? Beetlejuice being one of his most popular properties, even if it's a sequel, if it's able to have that classic Tim Burton flair, then I'll take it. Plus, Michael Keaton really needs a win after The Flash, so fingers crossed. Number 9 is Alien Romulus. This is going to be sort of like what Saw X was, with being set in between the first and second movies. That's at least what's being put out there. I don't know how exactly that's going to work, because the rumor is that this movie is going to show what happened to that settlement of people that was wiped out in Aliens. Like, they're saying that might be the movie, but I don't know how that would work. I'd be intrigued to see it if they can do it right. But other than that, I just want something good from Alien, because if I can't have what I wanted with them continuing the prequel story with Alien Covenant, I'll take something so long as it's done right. Plus, Fede Alvarez, you let me down with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you know what? I've liked some of your other stuff, so if you can give us a win with this, then I'll forgive you. Number 8, Terrifier 3. I'm sure a lot of us are much more excited for this after how good the second one is. But shit, they didn't even need to show the trailer yet to get me hooked. All they had to show was that teaser poster with Art the Clown dressed up as a bloody Santa Claus, and I was like, oh, I'm fucking thrilled. So, because who doesn't love a good Christmas slasher? Hell, maybe that'll be what you wanted, John. Christmas. So, if they can keep the same things going that made Terrifier 2 a win, keeping it more story-driven while you're still giving the gore, we want the gore, then, I think I'm going to start to be getting heavily invested in this franchise. So, we'll see. Number 7, the Ted TV series. Those who don't know, this is going to be sort of a prequel, because the first film opened showing he was a kid, then it flash forwarded to when they were grown up and all that. This is sort of going to be a middle ground thing, showing when the dude was in high school and all that, and hijinks are going to ensue. And I at least see potential for some good humor there, because usually a lot of high school comedies are pretty trashy and the humor is obvious. While some of the humor looked obvious in the trailer, it's Ted. They haven't disappointed me with anything Ted related to, so I'm really hoping this is good. If I can't have Ted 3, I'll have something. All right, number 6 is my most anticipated horror film of the year, Maxine. This was on my most anticipated list for last year, but it got pushed, I assume, because of the strikes. So, look, I can only say what I really said last year. I was expecting absolute dick from X. Ty West directing. I fucking hate his movies usually, at least before X. And then, and plus the trailers didn't really sway me, but goddamn, he had 2 wins back to fucking back. So, and plus now that we're starting to get some story details about this movie, I'm like, shit, man, if you can land the plane with this, this will be one of the best trilogies in recent memory, at least in my opinion. Plus, more Mia Goth. Can we really complain?
Titties.
Lots of titties.
Hey, look, titties. A family picture. All right, number 5 is my big thing. Survivor, season 46. Now, this season is going to be interesting because this is the second season that has eluded me. Because I've auditioned for the show twice now. Once was for what ended up being season 37. I didn't make it that time. And then when I went out to a casino earlier this year to audition, this was the season I was trying out for, and they had already cast it. So this is the second season that will have eluded me. So and plus Survivor, it's fun. It's still fun, even nearly 50 fucking seasons later, and none of it has felt stale to me. I love the formula. And plus, Jeff Probst is one of my favorite people to watch on TV. So, yeah, fucking love Survivor. All right, number 4, my man down here is going to agree with me here. Inside Out 2. This probably would have been an honorable mention on my list if we didn't get the trailer when we did. But since we did get the trailer to really get some context of what the story is, it put my mind at ease as to where they're going to go. It's like it's going the routes that we were hoping it was going to go. We're talking about puberty, Riley's growing up, some new emotions. It looks like where it's going, where it naturally needs to go. So I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm a little iffy on the fact that some of the emotions voices were recast, but we'll just have to wait to see to see if it'll land with us. All right, number 3 are my big 3. What makes these 3 unique is like these are going to be the big movie events of the year for me. So number 3, Twisters. Twister, the original, is one of my favorite films of all time. Plus, the genre of disaster films with tornadoes is my favorite type of disaster film to go with. I would want to be in a tornado in real life, obviously, but there are a lot of tornado movies I really love. And there's kind of 2 reasons why I'm really excited for this. 1, because again, it's a sequel to one of my favorite films. And 2 is just the fact that I've been craving another tornado movie to see in the theater. And especially the fact that it's going to be something big screen. The fact that there's teasing the fact that the tornadoes in this movie are going to be freaking insane. Epic even is the word that's describing this to be as epic as far as the scale of the tornadoes. So, plus you got an actor from Top Gun Maverick in this. So I have all the hope in the world for this film. There's no word yet on if any actors from the original are going to be coming back, like Helen Hunt or anybody, but Top Gun Maverick wasn't cameos galore aside from Val Kilmer coming back, so that proved that legacy sequels can still work even without the cameos galore, so we'll see. All right, number 2, and this was really close, honestly. Because of the trailer that came out, it really put it close to me. It almost tied with my number 1. Number 2 is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I have recently become like a Ghostbusters fanatic. Like I've always liked Ghostbusters. I was very casual with it. I was like, yeah, I like these. But after Afterlife came out, yeah, I'm hardcore now for Ghostbusters. Except the remake, which wait a minute, there was a remake? Never mind. Yeah, what remake?
Well, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I think there was a remake that came out, but the premise for this movie looks good. The villain is original. It doesn't look like they're relying on nostalgia in all the wrong ways, and plus the villain looks fucking cool. I mean, how badass does that sound? The Death Chill. So, and I just gotta bring this up right now. I know it's not guaranteed that any characters are actually going to die in this, but just something about this trailer just has me think that if any, at least of the OG characters are going to die, I think Bill Murray is most likely. I don't know why. That's just the vibe that I got off the trailer. And of the new characters, I think they're most likely to kill off Paul Rudd. So I don't know. I don't want anyone to die in this, but I mean it's Ghostbusters. They're probably bound to kill somebody off. That's just what I'm thinking. So, and plus, it's just I think what put it up so high on this list is what Dan Aykroyd recently said about it, is that it's going to be a film about loss and even resentment and stuff like that, like how to cope with loss and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be touching on personally how the OG crew is now going to be dealing with the death of Egon. How they're going to be coping with that. That's at least my guess. Because they touched on it a bit when they all showed up at the end of Afterlife. You get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. All right. Number 1, the big kahuna. Y'all need to guess. You know what it is. Deadpool 3. All right. There's a lot of reasons why. Because any remnant of the Fox X-Men universe, I will gladly take. I know this is technically a part of the MCU, but come on. It's Deadpool. Is Deadpool really a part of anything? It wasn't even technically actually canon to the X-Men films. But still part of the Fox brand. So, and look, just to touch on the big thing right now, Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine would have bothered me had they not said that this isn't going to touch Logan, which really put my mind at ease. Because there's a lot of ways that bringing him back could have really undone how great Logan was. So I'm glad that they're at least taking the steps and doing the homework to make sure that it doesn't actually canonically ruin Logan. It's separate. It's not even part of the timeline. So that makes me happy. And plus, you know me, I am a Fox X-Men fanatic. And my expectations for this, at least, are that it's going to be No Way Home, but with a lot of the actors from the Fox X-Men universe coming back. Dude, if you give me James Marsden, Famke Jensen, Ian McKellen, Sean Ashmore, it's not everyone, but most of the major players, dude, it's gonna be it will become worthy for me. So, yeah. And if anything, I have not been this excited for a movie, well, since the big one, Halloween Ends. So, so it's just nice that I can still find these movies, and I'm like really excited to the point that like these are going to be events to me. So that is my list. Thoughts?
That's a good list.
Yep.
So
That's a list.
It's a good list.
So, do you guys want to give a few picks for what's on your list?
Yeah. Am I lagging?
No, you're good.
You're good, man.
All right.
Yeah,
So
you're lagging. You lagger.
All right. So we'll go in order. John, Mark, then Rome, then Rob, then Don.
Guys, I'm gonna get off because I want to make some dinner. I haven't eaten since
Okay.
earlier. So.
All right then.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Thanks for inviting me on the stream, Zach. I appreciate it.
No problem, Rome.
Peace out, guys. Love you.
Take it easy, man.
Alrighty then. So I guess the order.
So I'm not going to mention, obviously, similar with what I did for my best and worst. I am not going to say every single most anticipated one I have because I'm going to do that for the Cool Kids stream. But I am going to mention a couple. Try to avoid the movies that Zach already mentioned because a lot of his I am excited for, a lot of them I'm not. But he said a bunch of them I'm already excited for. So I have 3 categories. Ones that I'm really super excited for. Ones I'm like cautiously like, okay, this looks interesting. And ones that I'm not really excited for, but I'm just kind of curious about. So I'll name like a couple of each. So in terms of the few that I'm really excited for, I'm super excited for Argyle. Mickey 17, which is Bong Joon-ho's next film, and it has Robert Pattinson in it. Sounds like a really cool idea, really cool sci-fi idea. I don't care what anybody says. I'm super psyched for Godzilla X Kong. That looks fucking awesome. It looks like pure, unadulterated cheese, and I am fucking here for it, and I love it. As well as, a couple others. Fall Guy is another one that I'm really excited for. In terms of ones that I'm like cautious, like, okay, I'm not like super excited, but I'm like, okay, this looks like an interesting idea, and I'm willing to see it. Zelda Williams' first film, Lisa Frankenstein, looks like an interesting idea. Kung Fu Panda 4, cautious. It ended very well with 3, but I'm curious with what else they have left.
Just real quick about Kung Fu Panda 4. It's like I'm cautious too, but I just don't know how I feel about the premise. Basically saying, building up in the first 3, how important he was as a Dragon Warrior, just to then strip that all away from him. That's kind of.
I mean, he had his time as the Dragon Warrior. Now he has to put it on someone else. I think that makes sense. Then, in terms of other ones, I'm curious about Roadhouse. I never saw the original, but I'm curious about it because I like Doug Liman and I like Jake Gyllenhaal. So Doug Liman usually does good work, and Jake Gyllenhaal usually does good work. So I'm curious for that. Mark?
I'm a huge fan of the original because it's one of my favorite campy 80s films, and I do not want to see a remake. I mean, I love Jake Gyllenhaal, but I mean, goddamn.
Also, it's got Daniela Melchior, so I'm gonna have to see it anyway because Daniela Melchior is mommy. Anyway, in terms of other films, Furiosa, I'm curious about. I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as Fury Road, mainly due to the inundation of heavy CGI, which makes me pretty worried. Again, I'm still curious because I do like the cast, but I'm worried that like George Miller is going to Marvelize his own franchise, and I'm kind of worried about that. But I'm curious about Garfield. I'm curious about Ballerina, which takes place in the John Wick universe. Curious about Wolfman, the Wolfman remake. It's directed by Lee Wannell, and he did a really good job with Invisible Man. So I'm curious about that. And then in terms of movies that not really curious about, I'm curious about, just not really excited. Madam Web is one. It looks like complete fucking garbage. It looks like it's going to be a horrible mess. I can't wait. It looks terrible, but it looks like garbage fun. I'll take it.
Garbage day.
I'm curious. I'm like, Dune Part 2. Didn't really care about the first one, but I'm really curious with what they do for the second one. Hopefully all the exciting shit happens in the second half of the story. Terrifier 3, as Zach mentioned, not really excited for that one, but because Terrifier 2 kind of just gets worse the more I think about it. But I'm curious about Terrifier 3. If Terrifier 3 doesn't impress me, then I'm done. I'm weirdly curious about, and then finally for the final of all of these, I'm weirdly curious about the Karate Kid movie. I don't think it's going to be good because it has nothing to do with Cobra Kai. But I'm curious with how they'll do this continuity, considering it has Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, because Jackie
we'll
Chan's movie was a remake.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I purposefully didn't mention a couple because I know for a fact Mark is excited about a bunch of movies, and I wanted to save them for his excitement. So I carefully tried to not mention the ones I know he'll mention because I want him to talk about them. So, Mark, you have the stage.
Yep.
Thank you, my brother. Well, one, I'm going to start off with one that I think we're all forgetting. One that I had forgotten, but not sure.
Hey, can I just slide in here with my list and then be done because I still got to make dinner?
Okay, then.
Okay, so my most anticipated of the list, starting from my least most anticipated to my most. Number 8, Madam Web. I actually remember Madam Web from like the original old day Spider-Man, and that's the only reason why I'm interested in this film. Like you said, man, Madam Web looks like a mess, and I'm just willing to give it a chance. Like, it looks like a mess, and I'm willing to give it a chance.
What in the Matrix hell?
Number 7, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix live-action show. We all know that the live-action Avatar movie is a god. That movie is, compared to the original show, that movie is a mistake.
There was no live action movie.
There was no live action. No, you're right.
There is no war in Bossing Say. There is no live action Last Airbender movie.
Yeah. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to see how it goes, and the trailers look really good, and I'm just willing to give it a chance. Let's see how it goes. Number 6, Invincible Season 2. The other half hasn't come out. Again, Invincible is a really good show that Ninjoid got me into, and I really like it. So, number 5, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm actually surprised I'm not more interested in this. Like, this is that third movie is going to be beyond amazing. But, you know. Number 4, Chainsaw Man Season 2. Hold on.
All right, then. In the meantime, I'll let Mark take the stage.
What?
I'll let Mark.
Sorry about that. But yeah, number 4 would be Chainsaw Man Season 2. Number 3 would be Chainsaw Man, the Bond movie, which that's going to be absolutely incredible. That is my favorite arc in the manga, so I can't wait to see the movie. Number 2, I can't believe this is so high, but I'm actually really looking forward to the Chris Pratt Garfield movie. And my number 1 is Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda 4. I can't believe it because after Kung Fu Panda 3, I didn't like Kung Fu Panda 3. Just like I didn't like Toy Story 3. I liked Toy Story 4. I'm hoping to like I'm hoping to like Kung Fu Panda 4.
That's for blasphemy.
With that said, guys, I gotta go and finish making my dinner. So thanks for having me on, Zach.
You're going out with a Phantom Zone. You're going out with a Phantom Zone, man.
Phantom Zone me, man.
Time's up.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Later,
At
Dylan.
least he said he liked Toy Story 4. At least give him that.
Yeah.
Nobody else is gonna hear is gonna fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So let's let Mark since he was just in the middle of doing his before.
All right, Mark.
All right. One I'm going to mention is, and I had forgotten about this one myself. Didn't realize it was coming out. Quentin Tarantino's the movie critic. Honestly,
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I honestly have no idea what to fucking expect from this, but it's Quentin Tarantino. He has yet to disappoint me. So it is Quentin Tarantino. Enough said.
If it can reach the greatness of like Pulp Fiction and stuff like that, it'll be a worthy exit for his career.
I expect this to be his ultimate statement on movie making. I'll say that. I think this is going to be his statement on movie making and reviewing movies. So, I mean, I know it's inspired by, God, what's her name, John? The famous movie reviewer with the New York Times from the 70s. Oh, God.
Roger Ebert?
No.
I have no idea. I don't really. I'm not adverse with like famous movie critics outside of Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Roper.
Oh, and Roper.
You done?
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay. All right. So anyway, others are, of course, the big three for me. You know, Furiosa is a big one for me. That's not one of the big three, but I mean, that's up there as one of my most anticipated. One of my most anticipated. Another one is Ballerina, which is set in the John Wick universe. So with Anna de Armas, hopefully she'll have a much better movie this time around. But I'd say Nosferatu is another big one because Robert Eggers. I mean, it's Robert fucking Eggers. So I mean, the man has had nothing but amazing movies. So, but the big three for me are going to be Joker 2. Also Joker 2. Gladiator 2. And Dune Part 2. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is up there too. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is up there too. That'd probably be fourth. But I mean, yeah, those are the big three for me. I mean, I just can't wait. Joker Part 2. I love the first one. I actually fucking love the first one. I thought it was a goddamn masterpiece. And yeah, I get that it's based on Scorsese's film.
King of Comedy.
King of Comedy, yeah. I love the King of Comedy. I thought it just, what he did with it fits the Joker so well. But either way, also Gladiator Part 2. Gladiator is another one of my favorite movies, and I cannot wait to see what he has in store for this, because this is based on her son who survived. So interested to see what he does with that.
Hey, what's up, man?
Also, wait, what was the last one I said? Dune Part 2. Obviously, Dune Part 2, because, you know, obviously I'm a big fan of the book. I've read the book, so I know what to expect, but I mean, still can't wait to see it because it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Mark? We'll get to Rob in a second, but you mentioned Tarantino's. I didn't know that was even coming out this year, but I'm actually going to preemptively add that as a number 15 to my list. So really quick, my number 15 most anticipated now is The Movie Critic.
There's some others that I'm interested in. There's Wicked, because I've read the book and I love the book. I've always wanted to see the Broadway play and I never have. Believe it or not, Civil War actually looks interesting. By Alex Garland. I mean, I liked his other movies, just not Men. So I mean, and this would actually be good. So
Man.
And
how you feeling, Austin?
Man.
You feeling okay?
Hey, Mark. Man asses.
That's right, men asses.
Ho! It's the fucking Grinch. and I'm here to fucking ruin your Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some others too. There's One Love. The
COVID already ruined your Christmas.
Yeah, really. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Bong Joon-ho has one coming out, Mickey 17, that looks intriguing. I mean, it's Bong Joon-ho, so shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm staying positive, motherfuckers.
I mean, you are positive. Positive for COVID.
Oh, and
God,
by the way,
damn it, you're right.
And by the way, Robert Pattinson is in Mickey 17 too, so that should create some interest for you guys.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. I'm glad you're feeling better, Austin. Glad you can make it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
God, is this stream gonna be fucking 10 hours long?
The Zach. Oh, funny enough, how my name is Zach. This is my Zach 4-hour movie. But all right, Rob.
Okay. All right. Finally, my turn. Okay. So my most anticipated, like obviously my top two most anticipated are Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I love Afterlife, and I know I've been a big Ghostbusters fan ever since I was a kid. I still remember when my dad got me the VHS for Christmas one year when I was little, and that's what introduced me. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's practically Ghostbusters, but with Mr. Freeze as the villain.
I did hear, by the way, that they're saying that they're taking heavy inspiration from the cartoon.
The real, yeah. That's what my brother told me. And like my older brother, even though he liked Afterlife fine, he said it kind of rehashed some ideas too much, and he's looking forward to this even more because it has more original ideas into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to. Another one I'm looking forward to is one you mentioned, Zach, Sonic 3. Yes, insert your Sonic the Hedgehog jerking off comment here. But yes, this is one I am like absolutely looking forward to it. I'm a massive Sonic fan, of course. I can't wait to see my boy Shadow on the big screen, and I hope to God that they cast Keanu Reeves to voice him. So, and honestly, going with what you said, Zach, even if Jim Carrey decides to stick with his retirement plan and not return for Sonic 3, there's still other villains you could use for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like there's Chaos, there's Metal Sonic, there's hell, they could probably even pull in. Even though I really hate the Shadow the Hedgehog solo game, I wouldn't mind if they bring in Black Doom. Yeah. Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Let's have Sonic, but give him buttons.
But yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to. That
He's like regular Sonic, but he has the end pass.
Let's see, what's another one? Inside Out 2. Inside Out is my favorite Pixar movie. And it honestly, based on the trailer, because at first I thought it would have been that Inside Out didn't need a sequel, but after I was actually kind of intrigued after seeing the trailer, with you see like anxiety and all, and that honestly makes a little bit of sense because I suffer through some anxiety here and with anxiety disorder here. But it's like that was honestly very interesting, and it seemed like they would have had to go with Riley growing up. They would have had to go with that story.
One thing I hope they keep, and I'm sure you'll all agree, is that I hope that they keep the same amount of thematic profundity that the first one had, the undertone.
Yeah, but there's other ones I'm looking forward to, like Furiosa, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, things like that. One that was not mentioned, I'm honestly kind of disappointed, Mark, that you didn't mention this movie, Drive-Away Dolls.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
the Coen brothers.
I didn't mention it because I knew you were going to mention it.
Exactly.
That's why I didn't mention it, because I'm like, Rob's excited. Let's give him that one.
Yes, yeah. It's directed by Ethan Coen, who was one of the Coen brothers who directed The Big Lebowski, Fargo, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, No Country for Old Men. They've honestly not made a bad movie in my eyes. It's just like. They do a great job. And based on the trailer, it just looks so much fun. So,
yeah. I can't believe I forgot Ghostbusters Afterlife, but Zach had already mentioned that. So that is one of the ones.
I had to mention it because it was like that and Sonic 3 were my most anticipated picks.
Oh yeah, I can't blame you because I love the Coen brothers. They're top notch.
Oh yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm with you. They have not made a bad film.
Oh yeah.
At least that I've seen, anyway. I even like Hail Caesar, and a lot of people didn't like that. So
I like that. I like that one.
I did too. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great dark comedy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, great satire. Jesus Christ.
Alrighty. So Austin, so what we did was we talked about all the topics in this stream, best and worst of the year, as well as most anticipated for next year. So,
okay.
All right. So were you able to make any lists for all of them?
I'm not gonna make any lists because I'm probably gonna wait till the Cool Kids stream to go more in detail.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you just a couple ideas of what's gonna be on the list. I'll start with my worst. list. The one movie with walls. That one David Gordon Green movie this year that came out.
Do you want to see a beloved hunting daughter? Open your eyes.
Mostly every single superhero movie that came out this year. That one movie about that character that just went into the public domain was made into a horror film.
Oh yeah.
On a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about those films. Those films, dumpster. Let's now positive best of. I haven't seen all of them, but you know that Barbie movie was pretty good. Cross the Spider-Verse is great. The Killer, which was good too.
Oh, I forgot to put that on my list. That was gonna be on my list. I forgot.
Evil Dead Rise, one of the best horror films this year. I'm trying to. Once I see a couple more films, then I'll have my list a bit more filled out. But those are just some ideas. My most anticipated releases, I'm with Right Dude. I'm gonna say Sonic 3 is up there because I'm a big Sonic fan. I love the first two Sonic films, and Shadow being his third one's gonna be really interesting. I really hope they just adapt the Sonic Adventure 2 story where they introduce Shadow and introduce a new villain. Even if Jim Carrey's not brought in, there's so many characters you could use. Like Chaos would be kind of cool. I mean, it's like you have so many characters. Like, see, this is one of those examples where you don't always need to do a cinematic universe, but a Sonic cinematic universe actually could work.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to be on there. I mean, I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I loved Afterlife, and I'm gonna. Yeah, it was Afterlife. Frozen Empire will be is up there for me too. The rest, that's a tough one. I could be an ass and say Madam Web, but I'm not gonna do that because
I already did.
I was gonna say he already mentioned it.
It's gonna be the moviest movie that ever movied since Mobius.
Well, it's Madam Web time, or
it's Webbin time.
It's Webbin time. You know what? I'll say Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know why when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, Kung Fu Panda. That brought some nostalgia back for me. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. As far as what else? There's not. I guess that Civil War looks interesting.
Can't be any worse than Captain America 3, am I right?
Well, I mean,
what? Wait a minute. You were glitching out, John. I didn't hear you. What was that? I'm sorry.
Sorry, my microphone is far away. I'm like, it can't be any worse than Captain America 3.
Oh, dear.
Toi, tu parleras le jour où on t'aura sonné, petit con!
What the fuck was that?
That's the French. That's the French dub of it.
It doesn't have the same impact. Don't tell me you can't find that. But I was going to say, John, that you mean Avengers 2.5?
I mean Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have Hawkeye. It doesn't have Thor, and
yeah,
okay,
it doesn't have Hulk. So I mean, it has the other 10 Avengers.
Still Avengers.
Christ.
Like they should have called it Avengers Civil War.
Yeah, they really should have.
But yeah,
that I can agree with.
We should have gotten with Captain America Civil War. We should have gotten either the original idea or the fake title idea. The original idea was Captain America and Falcon going after the Mad Bomb, or Captain America Serpent Society. It should have been one of those two. It shouldn't have fucking been Civil War. But they had to make Civil War because DC was making Batman vs. Superman. So I'm like, okay, we have to make our fucking guys fight now. So, meh. Okay, sure. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, you know what? Ballerina. That's also going to be on my list.
Yeah.
Ballerina.
Yeah.
I'm down for spin-offs in the John Wick universe, just so long as they don't actually make a John Wick 5. because I don't know if it was intended, but John Wick 4 feels like an ending. Am I the only one that thinks that?
Yeah,
but
but
this
like
is
they
spin-off.
purposefully didn't show him dying in case they wanted to pull a fucking like let's bring him back because reasons.
So he might be dead. He might not. He may be dead. He might not be dead.
He is Schrodinger's John Wick. He might be dead, but he might be not dead.
Yeah. This isn't made by the same guy that made This isn't made by the same guy who made the John Wick movies, though. This is Len Wiseman. He made the Underworld movies.
Oh, those are pretty good. Well, the first.
Yeah,
two
those are pretty good. Yeah. They're all right.
I don't have.
I like them. I like the ones with. I've liked them, so I had fun with them. So.
Yeah. Kate, what's her name?
Kate Beckinsale. I think
Kate
that's his
Beckinsale.
wife.
She might have horrible taste in men, but she made fun movies.
Yeah, she did.
And I'm curious before we wrap it up, because this is actually a topic that I kind of like a little spin I wanted to do last year, but I forgot to. Because we talk about the things that we're excited for. How about like the things that we're like not like definitively not gonna watch?
Anything, pretty much anything Marvel related, anything Star Wars related.
I have to
much-
look.
Yeah, anything like that. Any like really big franchises outside of like anything like because this thing is there's only two DC things coming out is Creature Commandos and Joker Fully Due. Because Batman Part 2 isn't coming out till 2025, maybe even 2026. So who knows on that? And so that like just and then it's just like I just don't like any big franchises like for the most part. Like I'm excited for Godzilla X Kong and that kind of thing, but for the most part I'm just like no. Give me horror movies, give me indie movies, and I'm good with that.
Hey, John, Jack actually said he's excited for Godzilla X Kong. He said the best thing I think I've heard about it. He said, I'm not expecting anything because I know it's just dumb fun.
It's just dumb fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like what the legendary movies are to me is the legendary movies are to like something what Toho makes like Godzilla -1. It's like the Roger Moore Bond movies to the Sean Connery Bond movies.
Yeah.
It's like you
McDonald's
got like,
versus Outback Steakhouse.
yeah, it's like one is okay, more like McDonald's to like like a fucking fancy French restaurant or something like that. Like it's just like trash, but enjoyable trash. Because it's like no McDonald's, you don't expect anything good. You're drunk, you're high, you're hungry at 2 a.m. You're going to McDonald's. If you want some fine dining, you go to Toho. If you want some mega crap that you can have fun with, you're going to Legendary.
Exactly.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. I love both greatness and schlock. I love it. Give me it. So for having Batman and Robin, Godzilla and Kong running at the camera,
watch it, John.
I'm cool with that.
Watch it, John. You're imitating the Wonder Woman.
No, I'm imitating the Flash.
How about you guys? Anything else that comes to mind, like that you're not gonna watch?
I'm not gonna see Madam Web. I have no interest in Kraven the Hunter. There was one more. Let me. Shit. I'm not interested in Smile 2.
So, I have no interest in Deadpool 3. No interest whatsoever.
Oh, so you're not.
And another one I just thought of. I will not be, and I'm pretty sure all of us will be in agreement on this. None of us will be seeing the Mufasa movie.
Yeah, not seeing that shit.
Fuck that.
But
I forgot it was coming out.
When the guy who is more forgiving of the Disney live action movies than anybody else refuses to see that shit, you done fucked up.
Yeah, because the Lion King remake was fucking awful. It is still the worst Disney remake to me. So, fuck that shit.
Hey guys, Did you realize there's an animated film next? It's set in the Lord of the Rings universe. It's coming out next year.
Oh yeah,
it looks like garbage. It looks like it's gonna pull a Rings of Power, where it's like, oh, did you know that look how strong this woman is and type shit. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm okay. Lord of the Rings ended in 2003. That I'm good with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
How about you, Austin? Anything that comes to mind, like you're like, fuck this?
Oh, Mean Girls. Fuck Mean Girls. Out of
yeah.
spite. Fuck Mean Girls.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
For me, anything David Gordon Green related, I don't know if he's even releasing anything next year, but if David Gordon Green releases something, I will not be watching. David Gordon Green ruined The Exorcist, ruined Halloween.
By the way,
exactly.
By the way, sorry to cut you off, Austin. I wanted to mention this because Mark, I thought you were going to mention this. I don't know if you are excited for this. I could have sworn that you mentioned it, but the Bob Marley movie, that looks kind of interesting.
I was going to mention that. That does look interesting. The only thing that disappoints me about it is they did not pick an actual Jamaican to play the role of Bob Marley. He's his mother was wasn't Jamaican. He was like, I think she's from Trinidad or something like that.
I guess that's a bit troublesome, but I feel like they I don't know. It just looks like, because like it's weird that it took them this long to make a movie about Bob Marley, because you'd think Bob Marley would have, they would have done that. But like, I think I'm not expecting Rocket Man, but I'm not expecting Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm expecting a better than average biopic. It looks pretty good.
If it can be as good as Rocket Man, then I'll be pleasantly surprised.
I don't know what to expect from Alien Romulus. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of almost not seeing it because I have no. To me, Alien, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Those are the only Aliens, and Alien 3 are the movies for me. And
yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, I'm excited for Noah Hawley's Alien series because I like his work.
But hey, it's Fede Alvarez.
Yeah, that's what makes me not fucking excited for it, because his track record fucking sucks. Evil Dead
want to see the guy who did
Don't Breathe
sucks. Chainsaw Massacre?
What?
You don't want to see the guy who did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022?
Fede Alvarez didn't do that
2018 ripoff.
Did he?
Fede Alvarez didn't do Texas Chainsaw.
Okay, that was David Blue Garcia. Okay, weird.
But I mean, Evil Dead sucked. Don't Breathe sucked, and I've heard Girl in the Spider's Web fucking sucked. So, you know what? Fede Alvarez overrated as hell. I don't expect Alien Romulus to be any good. I might see, if we're doing a Cool Kids review on it, I might see it, but I don't expect anything from that.
I'm willing to bet, John, that if we do a Cool Kids review of it and you do end up hating it, then he's going in the pit, isn't he?
Probably.
Oh wait, he wrote the story for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, he did. I knew it. He wrote the story for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He wrote that.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything though.
Yeah, it does. It counts. Fuck him.
Also, apparently there's an Amy Winehouse biopic coming out next year, directed by Sam Taylor Johnson. So, I don't know if people are excited for that.
I'm sorry. What was it again?
It was Amy Winehouse biopic. I don't know if anybody's a fan of Amy Winehouse. I don't really care.
I mean, she was really talented. There's a new
what is it?
Drama coming out, Spaceman with fucking what's his name?
Yeah, I saw that.
With
Paul Dano and Adam Sandler, Carey Mulligan.
Adam Sandler, Adam Sandler. That's the guy I was trying to think of. Adam Sandler, yeah.
So in terms of stuff I'm definitely not excited for, I'm definitely not excited for Despicable Me 4.
No, I didn't care about any of those.
You know what? I also don't want to see that Megamind sequel or series or movie that's coming out where he's gonna be a social media influencer or something. I don't even know if that's true.
I never heard of that. Ugh.
If that is a thing, that sounds
not excited for for Borderlands, even though it's got a really good cast because it's directed by Eli Roth, and fuck Eli Roth. Harold and the Purple Crayon could be a good kids movie. Transformers 1, I'm curious about. I don't. It probably won't be good, but like again, it's animated. It's not going to follow the live action stuff right now.
Yeah.
It's
You know what I'm not
curious.
seeing?
I'm curious.
Snow White.
No, that's coming out in
yeah.
2025, though. That's coming out in 2025.
Yourself.
Any
Just
live
for
action Disney thing is
just
not
for mentioning it.
No. Boo, Zach. Boo.
And to other stuff I'm not excited for, Beetlejuice 2. I don't really care about Beetlejuice. Don't care about Smile 2. Didn't care about
Smile
the first one.
2,
Don't care
yeah.
about the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not excited about that stupid fucking Lord of the Rings movie that's probably gonna fucking suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
Got a weird year ahead of us for movies.
Anything come to mind for you, Mark? Specifically for you?
Oh, by the way, Rebel Moon 2. I'm surprised you didn't mention that, Mark.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for the director's cuts more from anything. Because I mean, I still liked it. I mean, I loved the main character, Sophia Boutella's character, Cora. I really liked the guy Gunner because he had a nice little arc where he goes from being this kind of selfish character, kind of opportunist, looking out for himself at the beginning, to completely redeeming himself by the end. So. And I did like, although you could tell they kind of really sped through the characters they kind of picked up for their little army along the way. But one of them I did really like was Nemesis. She has a very interesting. She got more character development in just a couple of lines of dialogue than in a lot. Than that one little vignette, because each of those times when they go to pick up somebody kind of serves as its own little vignette, and this one really works better than the rest of them. So, yeah.
I've heard, I don't know if this is true, and you can give context to this, but I've heard a lot of people compare it more so unfavorably to Dune, more so than Star Wars.
I mean, it's its own thing. I mean, shit. Obviously. Honestly, I was trying to think about how it could even fit in the Star Wars universe. It seemed to me he must have made a lot of changes along the way, So, plus, obviously he's setting up his new world, so he's got a lot to establish. So, shit. The first is a lot of setup. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Are we ready to wrap it up soon?
Yeah, let's say.
I still have a couple things to put in my not gonna watch category. Any Marvel show that's coming out next year, I'm not gonna watch because why am I gonna continue to waste my time?
Wait, you're not excited for Echo, Austin?
No, I'm not, and I don't want to hear but Daredevil's in it. Oh, it's TVMA. So it's still a Marvel show on Disney Plus. It's still probably gonna be bad.
I just don't really give a shit at this point. So
I don't. I mean,
honestly, I think I'm gonna cut Star Wars out of my life in 2024. I
have, and I'm much happier.
You know what, John? I will take your word for it. My New Year's resolution: I'm cutting Star Wars out of my life for good.
I don't do Star Wars I don't do New Year's resolutions.
I don't either, but I'm not even going to call it a New Year's resolution. I'm going to say this is going to be a new life choice for me.
As Mark said, I'm going to be the same asshole from 2023 to 2024. If y'all don't like that, then you get the fuck out of my life.
Exactly. That's me, baby.
I'm just going to keep...
How many assholes we got on this ship anyway?
I'll try to shed a few pounds, but outside of that...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Austin, but for me... Because I had almost done the same thing, honestly, after episode 9, that piece of shit, that abomination. But honestly, Mandalorian, I finally gave Mandalorian a chance after so many of my friends say they loved it. I finally gave it a chance, and I really loved it, and especially the first 2 seasons of the show were amazing. So that's why, even though this season was really very mixed for me, I'm still going to stick with it, especially because where that failed, Andor picked right the fuck up.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Andor was fucking amazing. Even Ahsoka, which honestly should have been called Rebel Season 6 or whatever the fuck.
5.
Well, 5, whatever. Yeah. But that was more of a mixed bag for me too. At first, I wasn't too crazy about it, but by the end, I thought it got really good. You know, so I mean, I think by like about the 3rd or 4th episode, they had really found their footing. So,
wait, is Red Sonja getting a 2024 release?
Yes.
Huh.
That's gonna be shit.
Red Sonja, people behind it actually look like they're giving respect to the source material, so I'll give them that. They actually look like they're respecting the source material. It's not going to be like, I remember hearing the director or writer saying they're like, we're giving her the chainmail bikini whether you fucking like it or not. So I'll give them that.
All right. I respect that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because Brigitte Nielsen was the only thing the original one had to go with. Because Brigitte Nielsen was hot in that.
Okay.
Oh god, so bad, but so funny.
What were you saying,
It really was.
Zach? What were you saying?
So I think that just about covers it then, unless there's any last things y'all want to bring up, or
I think we said enough.
So yeah, a weird freaking year. I'm sure we could all agree. And but I will say though, if a lot of the movies that we love this year, if they keep that quality for 2024, I think it's going to be an improvement. So
it's been a good year for movies.
It's been a really good year for movies. So
that being said, that is going to wrap up the final stream of 2023. In the meantime, I'm going to let y'all advertise what is coming up for the Cool Kids. Then I'll advertise my stuff, and then we will wrap it up.
Okay. Well, stay tuned on the Cool Kids stream. You stay tuned tomorrow, where we will be doing a review, our last review for the year, which would be Iron Claw. So we will be reviewing Iron Claw tomorrow night, I believe, and it's going to be hosted by KJ Whiskey Jones. And then after that, the week after, we're going to be having our trio of end of the year streams, where we talk about the best movies we've seen this year, the worst movies we've seen this year, most anticipated. I mean, obviously, we'll go into more detail than we did for this stream because we didn't want to spoil too much. Yeah. So
awesome. And as far as I go, I'm thinking of putting together a big epic review of Wonka because I just loved that movie so much. Like I got during the stream, it just lifted my spirits and what was a really depressing year. And then I am planning a review series of the Ghostbusters movies, the canon ones, to lead up to Frozen Empire. I always like to do at least one or two of these review series every year. I actually want to try and do more than just one this year, so I'm gonna try and make that a goal for this year. Do more actual reviews. So, and just because I'm an asshole, Ari Aster.
And now you're going to die.
I want to thank everyone for watching. Like and subscribe if you're seeing for the first time. Subscribe to the Cool Kids channel. I will try to link that in the description after we wrap up and all that. So with that being said,
wait,
Mark.
one more thing. I'm sorry. You know what you don't have to look for 2024 from the Cool Kids? No more motherfucking comic book movies, bitch. I love it. They're dead. Fuck them. I hope they stay dead.
Wait, what's that? I couldn't hear you.
Hear that?
There's like what, one Marvel project coming out next year?
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3, that's like
it.
the only one.
And no DC. That's it. That's it.
Well, technically, Joker.
Yes.
Joker full ado, but you know
That's
Yeah.
art. That's art.
they
That
each
is
get one.
That's
You
cinema.
each
Yours.
get one.
Cinema, bitch. Cinema.
So
Yeah.
until then, I will
that
link the Cool Kids channel in the description of the stream. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. Have a happy new year, and here's just to a better year. Later, y'all.
Peace out.
Later.
Bye.